Pandasal sa Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM.
Radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, 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 Katipunan. Voice of the Blue Eagle, kami di mapipigil sa pagbabalitang tumpak at tama. Buhay Atenista, sa loob sa labas ng eskwela, ating ibibida lahat ng kwela. Radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan. Kawal ni Ignacio, Katipunero sugod, todo sa kayod, dunong at tulog. Lipat na Blue Eagle, galing giting nagigil. Blue and white, one big fight. Radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, 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 Katipunan.
3 o'clock prayer. You died, Jesus, but the source of life flowed out for souls, and the ocean of mercy opened up for the whole world. O fountain of life, immeasurable divine mercy, cover the whole world and empty yourself out upon us. O blood and water, which flowed out from the heart of Jesus as a fountain of mercy for us, I trust in you. Holy God, holy mighty one, holy immortal one, have mercy on us and the whole world. Holy God, holy mighty one, holy immortal one, have mercy on us and the whole world. Holy God, holy mighty one, holy immortal one, have mercy on us and the whole world. Amen. Jesus, King of mercy, we trust in you.
Radyo Katipunan. News, insights, inspiration. Radyo Katipunan. Down from the hill and down to the world. Radyo Katipunan. The voice of the Blue Eagle.
Radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, 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 Katipunan. Voice of the Blue Eagle, kami di mapipigil sa pagbabalitang tumpak at tama. Buhay Atenista, sa loob sa labas ng eskwela, ating ibibida lahat ng kwela. Radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan. Kawal ni Ignacio, Katipunero sugod, todo sa kayod, tunong at tulong. Lipat na Blue Eagle, galing giting at tigil. Blue and white, one big fight. Radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, radyo, Katipunan.
It's time to level up! Your talk variety program showcasing the best in media and other fields. As we feature the most loved personalities and the best practices of what we truly refer to as Magis. Together with multi-awarded multimedia guru Mr. Noel Ferrer, let's all level up every Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. here on Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM.
Okay, all good already, all the best. And when we say the best, we have the best. And I can say two of the most inspiring Ateneans in the campaign trail today. First up, after being gone from the public eye for a number of years, I have reconnected with her last year. She was the original spokesperson of the Vice President, and she was the head of the anti-poverty and advocacy programs of the OVP before she left for her master's in public administration at the Harvard Kennedy School. Naging ina. Tapos, well, she graduated with honor and dignity. AB Interdisciplinary Studies 2007, and Master of Science in Social Development, both in the Ateneo. Naging chair na ngayon ng Robredo People's Council. Wala, parang umalis lang siya sandali, pinasabik tayo, tapos nandito siya sa ginagawa niya na tayo nabiyayaan ng kanyang presence kasi iba yung dating. Parang siyang liwanag sa dilim din. Ang tagal kong hinintay ito kasi parang urong sulong pero nandun siya talaga palagi. Pero ngayon lumalantad na siya. Nandito si Georgina Hernandez-Yang, si Jonah, si G, lahat na. Jonah, hello. Hello, kumusta, Georgina?
Hi Noel, magandang hapon. Magandang hapon sa iyo and sa lahat ng mga nakasubaybay sa atin ngayong hapon.
So, kumusta yung kampanya? Una muna, mahirap kasi yung Cavite, di ba? Ang tawagan ng mga tao, Cavite versus the Cavites. Kasi alam naman natin, yung mga naghaharing uri dyan, iba yung loyalties, kapatid. Kumusta yung nangyari ngayon?
Noel, since this morning, very early, we started at 7 a.m. with VP
Yeah, we were texting, you were there already.
In Carmona. Oo, si VP Lenny talagang hindi napapagod and lahat tayo yung napapagod for her pero siya hindi napapagod. And volunteers were already lined up on the streets. So paglabas pa lang ng SLEC, Sinalubong, Carmona, Silang, Dasmariñas, Imus, and then Bacoor, Kawit. Currently she's in Noveleta, tapos Tansa, and then General Trias for the Grand Rally. The energy, ramdam na ramdam yung groundswell. Ramdam na ramdam na mga ordinaryong Pilipino ang magpapanalo kay VP Lenny Robredo. And yun, actually, that's what she said this morning. Mga ordinaryong Caviteño ang magpapanalo sa kanya.
Kinikilabutan ako dyan kasi parang 67 days before the elections, what has been the overall feeling of people in the ground like you? Kasi parang kapatid, pag nakita natin yung surveys, parang wala sa survey yung mga taong nandyan.
Alam mo, the overwhelming feeling is really that of hope. Talagang pag-asa. And that anticipation that come May we can change the trajectory of our country and our future will change for the better. And tingin ko that's really what drives us. Parang the numbers inspires us to work harder. And si VP mismo, from the very start, from the get-go, she said that sanay na sanay siya sa mahirap na laban. So mas ang tanong nga niya kung sanay ba tayo sa kaya ba natin nasabayan sa dito sa mahirap na laban na to? Kasi from the time she ran as congresswoman and then she ran for vice president, from 1% to vice president, she's no stranger to these kinds of numbers. So talagang tuloy lang and eyes on the ball for her and for all of us. And we have enough time. We have enough time to really win this for our country.
Nakakaawa yung optimism, no. Pero kapatid, di ba? Kitang-kita natin hindi siya nawal na papagod pero hindi siya natitinag dun sa dami ng gagawin. Pagpunta sa give us a sample of her day. Kunyari, in a place sasabihin niya pupunta siya ng Cavite, hindi siya sa isang grand rally lang pupunta, di ba? So, how is that? How do you plan her day?
Oo. So, kasama ko sa team of volunteers that really help out and work on the different activities. So, even before she arrived, talagang lahat ng mga volunteers, kanya-kanyang sabit ng mga banderitas. If I can just share, until midnight last night, I was texting with our volunteers in Cavite na nagkakabit sila ng mga pink ribbons at night para sigurado na hindi matatanggal. And gusto nila na para masigurado na si VP Lenny herself would be able to see it. And VP Lenny really appreciates all the support of the volunteers. Kaya talagang hindi rin talaga niya iniinda, no? Even though her days are so long, starting early in the morning until late at night. Kung minsan may mga Zoom pa siya sa gabi with volunteers, overseas Filipinos from different parts of the country. But tuloy-tuloy lang. Kasi I think she really appreciates that this campaign is not just about her, not just about the candidate, but it's really about volunteerism and all ordinary Filipinos embracing this fight as their own fight. So parang when we campaign for VP Lenny, ikaw, ako, all the different artists, all the different volunteers, we're doing this not just for one person. We're doing this not just for her, but for all of us. And I think ramdam na ramdam ni VP Lenny yun. And parang for her, the least she can do is if we could grant a photo, if pwede natin na pagbigyan sila na makita siya, she would do it. Because alam niya na mas grabe ang pagod ng mga volunteers kaysa sa kanya.
Kapatid, talk about goosebumps moments. Ano yung para sa yung tipong mga aha moments sa tipong grabe naman yung effort nito ng mga tao?
Ako, sinabi mo palang goosebumps moment, na-feel ko na agad yung goosebumps. I think, of course, it all started with a kick-off in Naga, and we were overwhelmed with the sea of pink all throughout the day. And then, sorry, may mga taong
okay lang yun. Normal yun sa kampanya.
sorry. But I think when we entered Quezon City Circle, and talagang punong-puno, halos walang madaanan, and I was with VP in that caravan. People from different walks of life, different ages, babae, everyone, all gender. Pero talagang madaanan, ramdam mo yung pagmamahal. Alam mo yun, minsan you need to hug someone para ma-feel yung love nila, but dun sa Quezon Circle, when we had the Pink Sunday, talagang you could really feel it na nakita lang nila si VP umiiyak, masayang-masaya. And I think that's really, for them, yung nakikita talaga nila yung pag-asa.
You've been in other campaigns. I'd like to ask you, how different is this campaign from the ones you participated in the past?
Sige. Noel, kwento ko yung Robredo People's Council that I'm co-leading with Rafi Magno right now is the one that coordinates with the different volunteer groups. And I actually did the same work in 2010 with Secretary Dinky Soliman, whom we miss so dearly right now. 2016, kami na rin ni Rafi and ni Gio yung magkakasama sa non-conventional campaign for VP Lenny. There are the same old faces from many years ago, and there are many new faces na ngayon lang din natin nakakasama. So talagang this is a different experience. It's very unprecedented kasi talagang iba-iba yung profile ng mga tao, and yung mga tao mismo yung nagkukusa. Ito yung halos kami yung pipigil na parang sure ba kayo gusto niyo yan gawin, parang baka it's too much for you. But the generosity and the energy and the passion and the commitment from all the volunteers is overwhelming. Yung mga stories na naririnig namin, talagang magko-commute sila, magbabiyahe ng maaga para makapunta sa Grand Rally. Talagang kanina may mga nakasalubong kami, mga nakamotor, dalawang sila sa motor, naka-pink na sombrero, tapos nakita nila kami sa sakyan, parang alam mo na parang talagang there's really this feeling of belongingness na nagkakaisa tayo para sa bansa.
Ang galing. And if you see, wala talagang form paraphernalia. Di ba? Parang lahat kanya-kanya yung gawa, kapatid. And people are so impressed sa kanya-kanyang gawa. So, does this mean wala talaga kayong ginagastos? Yung tipong ganun, in a rally like that, do you have organizers to do it? Parang anong dynamics?
Oo, halos lahat sagot talaga ng mga local organizers. Kanina kausap ko dito ang mga titas of Cavite na, sige dito, sa'yo nag-sponsor ng lights, sa'yo nag-sponsor ng sounds, sagot na nila yung stage. So talagang it's modern bayanihan. And talagang yung notion ng People's Campaign really goes very much in line with VP Lenny's platform talaga na people's participation, di ba? Yung gobyernong tapat, honestly, yung gobyernong tapat is really, mangyayari lang yung gobyernong tapat pagkasali yung mga taong bayan sa pag-gobyerno o sa pamamahala. At nakikita natin, dito pa lang sa kampanya ni Lenny Robredo, ramdam na ng mga tao na kasali sila. And really, this is how a Robredo government, a Robredo administration will run, that with ordinary people pitching in whatever they can, giving all that they can, because they trust that the leader will really also serve their needs and address their needs. So talagang yung generosity comes from the trust na nagtitiwala sila sa klase ng pamumuno ni VP Lenny.
Alam mo, na-miss kita. Nagsasalita ng ganyan. Alam mo kung bakit? Kasi iba yung pagbibigay ng yun nga, inspirasyon at saka yung pag-asa sa mga tao. No? Yung tono niya yan yung tono ni Ma'am. Di ba? Parang yan yung nami-miss.
Love natin si Ma'am.
Totoo. Yun yung, parang, at ako, yung isa sa ano yung mga reflections mo about this campaign na parang, well, sinabi mo na yung people's fight, the people's campaign. Pero ano pa yung ibang reflections mo? Napapatigil ka na lang na tipong, nakaya nila yon. Kasi ako kapatid, parang ang daming ganong moments na tipong yung pagka-generous, sabi mo nga, pagiging bukas palad ng mga tao, kitang-kita.
May mga estudyante na kahit limited yung resources nila, kung ano yung ma-contribute nila, hindi sila nahihiya. Kasi they're confident na we will not look down on anyone's contribution in this campaign, di ba? Na walang maliit na ambag sa kampanya ni VP Lenny at ni Senator Kiko. And in that sense, kung ang kaya nilang bilhin ay crepe paper at yun ang ikakabit nila at walang pambili ng ibang mga resources tulad ng yung mga tarpaulin or other nicer things, gagawin nila. And yun yung very inspiring that you feel comfortable to be who you are and to contribute what you can. So yun, kahapon may mga nag-text sa akin na bibili kami ng crepe paper para isabit namin o pangsalubong sa kanyang ganito. So hindi nagiging hadlang din yung limited resources natin. And we're embracing whatever. Malaki man, ikaw man yung nag-sponsor ng stage or ikaw yung bumili ng crepe paper, pangsalubong, pantay kayo. Kasi pareho kayo ng supporter ni VP Lenny. And yun yung ako as the one working with the volunteers together with our team, no? Yun yung pinaka nakakatuwa na anyone can really play a huge role in the victory. This is really also going to be a people's victory. Kasi tayong lahat ng nagtrabaho.
And people are acknowledged. Kasi ako, sinasabi ko na ngayon, huwag nyo nang tanggalin yung pagbabasa ng placards. It's really now my favorite part of the of the sorties. Why? Because parang na-acknowledge yung mga ginagawang slogans. Wala kayong kinalaman dyan, di ba?
Wala. I think nag-start sa Noel nung Cebu na parang medyo hindi pa sure si VP kung babasahin niya. Tapos para siyang tita na pinapagalitan tayo kasi makukulit tayo.
Lang kasi it connects her to the people, no? At na-acknowledge yung mga tao.
Actually, kasi ang nangyayari ngayon, nababalitaan namin on social media na pag may sortie or may gathering the day after, parang at night, nagka-crowdsource ng mga parang creative ideas yung mga tao na para bang makita sila ni Lenny Robredo at mabasa yung placard nila. So, pagandahan, pagiging best creative entry, na pag nabasa yung sa'yo ay parang feeling mo, you were seen. And talagang super funny. Feeling ko si VP Lenny, para siyang tita mo na parang papagalitan ka pero kukonsintihin ka pa rin.
Pero pwede na natin
pag nagbabasa.
Picture yan, no? Na feature sa sa mga rallies. Hanggang kung kaya ng oras, kahit konti lang pag-acknowledge din ng mga tao. Kasi parang na-enjoy naman niya. Nakita ko nung sa Maynila na mas at ease na siya nun. At parang yan yung bago palagi. So, it's about the creativity in people. At saka maganda yung commentary niya, yung quips niya pagkatapos. So, yun, hindi talaga edited yun. So,
true. Bawal is-splice. Kailangan ma-appreciate mo yung buong thing. Tapos talagang, yun na yung magpapasaya sa'yo for the day.
Totoo. And now, 67 days before the elections, ano pa yung target natin? Parang George. Yun, parang ang dami pang i-cover and we know hindi lahat yan mapupuntahan ni Ma'am. Pero people are just as excited, no? To see you and the surrogates, yun ang tawag natin, di ba?
Si VP Lenny noong 2016 sa yung pinakamaraming provinces na napuntahan among all the presidential and vice presidential candidates. At sa sobrang sipag ni VP Lenny na palagi niyang pinapatanggal ang mga resti, sa tingin ko ganun pa rin yung mangyayari this year na sa pa rin yung pinakamaraming mapupuntahan na probinsya. Because sometimes even in a day talagang punong-puno and marami siyang napupuntahan. But the beauty of the People's Campaign, with or without the candidates, we're able to share the message of VP Lenny to people. Alam nyo, February 25, VP Lenny was in Iloilo.
Yes.
I visited the youth volunteers in Bukawi, Bulacan, and also in Tarlac City. grabe, kung makapag-mobilize ng tao, akala mo may kandidato, akala mo may mga artista, pero talagang purely volunteer-led. And they become the ambassadors of the campaign to each other. And yun yung maganda, na hindi natin kailangan kasama siya palagi, pero naikukwento natin kung sino siya, anong mga nagawa niya, anong plataforma niya, anong plano niya para sa atin. And we're all ready to share her message to people, especially dahil hindi naman niya sabay-sabay mapupuntahan lahat. And when I say we, Noel, we as in not people
lahat,
of the
diba?
lahat.
Inclusive,
every person who is a part of the campaign, volunteer, different group, part ka ng Team Lenny Robredo, part ka ng dapat si Lenny, People Power Volunteers for Reform, Solid Lenny Pilipinas, whatever organization you are a part of, you're really empowered to represent VP Lenny. Kasi nga, it's the values that we share together. Yun yung nagbubuklod sa atin.
And there were a lot of parallel activities, no? And you encourage those, no? But what do they have to do? To inform the central office or hindi na kailangan?
Medyo ganito yung dahil devolved and very
nga.
empowered. So kung minsan nakikita na lang din namin sa social media na, may ganito pala. And then sometimes we reach out to them na, may ganito pala kayong activity. Can we share it? Can we also talk about it? Can we also invite other people? Kasi sometimes it's really groundswell, grassroots. They don't even know sometimes kung kanino sila magsasabi or what. But nakakapagsimula ng activities. But of course, we have yung mga Robredo People's Council per province. So yung RPC is the coordination mechanism of the campaign. Kasi syempre, while the People's Campaign is so nice, we also need to know who to communicate with, who to coordinate with. So ang kinakausap ngayon ng mga volunteers are their coordinators. There are provincial coordinators for Robredo People's Council. Siguro talagang I'll really take this opportunity na kung if you're a supporter, tapos naghahanap ka, sinong pwede kong makausap, kung may idea ako, or kung gusto ko ng tarpaulin, or gusto ko tumulong sa house-to-house, you can actually message the Robredo People's Council Facebook page, and then they can direct you sa mga groups in your province or in your city.
Ang galing ng kapatid kasi sinabi nga, from the arts, ang daming kantang naisulat, ang daming mga gimmick, pati nga bread, di ba? Mga pagkain, nakakaiba, no? Parang tumawid sa lahat ng pwedeng And I know of a team doing a saranggola ng pag-asa na coordinate na ngayon for the birthday na tipong ganun, parang patayog yung pangarap, parang ganun. Ang ibang klase talaga yung creativity ng tao pag pinahinahayaan sila at empowered sila. So, ako, where will this all lead to? Yung tipong may pagbubuo naman siguro ito.
Yeah. I think at the end of the day, we encourage people to go on the ground and talk to people, tao sa tao. And that's really the climax of the campaign. Parang we think that the grand rallies are the most important. Actually, the grand rally is really meant to send us out. Yun yung, kung na-imagine nyo, pep rally, di ba? So yan yung pep rally natin. But the real work in the campaign is going on the ground, kumakatok sa mga bahay, tao sa tao, respectfully engaging people in conversation. And that's really how we're going to win this election. Through heart-to-heart conversations with people.
Kinikilabutan ako kasi kanina, narinig ko yung speech ni VP Lenny at ang sabi niya talaga, bumalik kayo sa pamilya nyo, kausapin niyo yung pamilya nyo, at yung pag-usapan kung ano yung at stake ngayong election. So, yun yung end point, di ba?
Totoo. And the end point of all of these, yung mga victorious and celebratory activities is the quiet and simple work of talking to family, talking to friends, talking to co-workers, talking to ordinary people you see on the road, and engaging them to find out, not directly na hard sell agad, no, but really finding what connects us as Filipinos. Connecting to fellow Filipinos.
Alam mo, na-miss kita. Na-miss kita talaga. Kasi di ba parang nakita natin yun, bumagyo, Tapos noon, nagkaroon ng, may sakuna, may COVID, no? Parang yung bayanihan na yan, kung nagagamit yan para makatulong na mas maraming tao, makareach ang mga tao. So, now, ito, isa sa mga tanong, no? Ngayong level 1 na tayo dito sa Metro Manila, anong pag-iingat naman yung ginagawa, kapatid? Kasi alam ko talagang nandun pa rin yung COVID. I know for the volunteers like us, meron talaga tayong kit, antigen kit every day na nakahanda na yun, parang matest, no? Pero ano yung guards dyan na walang magkakaroon, hindi magkakaroon ng outbreak pagkatapos?
Ako, we always still remind the volunteers to wear masks all the time.
That's
so
true.
Talagang as much possible, we don't remove the mask. We also use yung hand washing, yung mga paggamit ng alcohol, and yung air circulation. So, we try our best na pag kumakain, outdoors, magkakalayo, physically distance pag kumakain. So, basically, in a nutshell, still, even though we're level 1, we want to be preventive and we want to ensure na hindi magkakaroon ng surge. So, we still pursue yung ating mga COVID protocols, yung ating health protocols.
Yun yung nakakamangha kay VP Lenny. Paano nyo naiiwasan na hindi siya mag-positive? Di ba? Ang dami na niyang na-meet ng mga tao. Parang yun. Parang ang tatag lang niya.
Actually, siya talaga yung example na if you follow the health protocols, talaga kahit na lumalabas ka, and you're vaccinated, di ba? You get your booster, tapos you wear your mask, more or less, hopefully, maging safe din talaga tayo lahat.
Isa sa mga nagtanong dito, ano raw ginagawa niyo dun sa mga gifts, mga inaabot sa kanya? Does she keep a memorabilia of parang lahat, yung kino-collect ba niya? I know there was one vlog or parang FB Live na pinakita niya lahat ng mga na-collect niya. Ano yung plano niyo dun, kapatid?
Oo. Yeah, as much as possible. Hopefully, pag nag-aabot kayo ng mga token kay VP, you put your name and your number, your email address. Kasi we want, she would, of course, would like to reach out sa nagbibigay. Mga simple lang naman yan ng mga token. Kadalasan, painting na gawa ng isang bata, di ba? Mga artwork, mga tula na sinulat, kanta. So talagang, mga personal work and works of from the heart. So itong mga to, talagang we put it together and it would actually be a very nice exhibit or even a museum of a people's campaign museum. Imagine mo, lahat ng mga inabot kay VP throughout the campaign. It's really the symbolism that this campaign is from different people and these are the contributions of everyone. So nakakatuwa din.
Ang gandang i-document yan kasi the office is really so diligent in like taking notes at actually tinitingnan ni ma'am kung sino yung nagbigay. So yun yung pakiusap nyo, no? Kung magbibigay kayo ng kung ano man kay ma'am, isulat yung pangalan or contact number.
Oo, syempre pag gumawa tayo ng memorabilia, coffee table, book, museum. So alam mo yun, these are all just ideas na naiisip ko ngayon. Na talagang we want to remember that this 2022 election is a people's campaign.
That's true. Na nag-enjoy tayo. Parang mahirap na campaign, mahirap na laban. Pero yun, parang tinatatakan natin na may taya tayo doon. No, but now, on the other side of Georgina, we want to know, kasi here in Level Up, we want to know also, we celebrate who we were, what we stand for, what we loved, and what's next. No? So, we want to know your roots, no? Since you came from the Ateneo and it's this sort of coming back to Ateneo, people would like to know what kind of student were you? Were you diligent at all? Anong klase kang estudyante? Were you a crammer?
Sa mga homework, crammer.
Okay.
Mahirap ako sa math. Pero active na ako ever since sa mga socially oriented organization. So I was the cluster head.
So IS ka. So ano yung dalawang courses sa pinagsama mo or tatlo or ano man?
Yeah. So sa interdisciplinary studies, I took up yung track ko were philosophy and development studies. So nakakatuwa naman. Honestly, diba, minsan yung IS, parang actually very important na alam mo kung anong gusto mo eh. Kasi pipiliin mo yung mga courses na i-take mo. So I took up development studies kasi I wanted that action to be immersed in communities and help change people's lives for the better. But I thought the philosophy was so important to give perspective. Na parang at the end of the day, you do all that you can, which is the development studies. But in philosophy, you realize you're really just this one dot in this whole
That's true.
system.
That's
And
true.
parang you realize that you do what you can, but the results, pinapaubaya. Natututo tayo
Galing.
ding magpaubaya.
Ang galing. Because as a Philo major also, so I had to anchor it naman into something more concrete. Di ba yung praxis and praxis and the theory, no? So parang ayun, I had to anchor it in broadcast. So parang ikaw, ang ganda, no? Parang yung paglalatag dun sa ground. Tama rin na ginagawa mo ngayon. Saan ka tumatambay nung nasa school ka?
May naabutan ko yung transition sa Colayco Hall.
Colayco
and then
Hall, yeah.
to this new MVP ngayon. So actually may time na yung Mateo Rizzi was our para kaming informal settlers doon for a year. But Colayco Hall kasi may org in college was ACLC, Ateneo Christian Life Community.
Good. Magkakasama kami sa isang room. So Atska Gabay, ACLC, and di ba? Yun yung apat. No? So okay yun. So hindi ka magaling sa math. Sino yung mga teachers na naalala mo na even after college, you would value their opinions or their advice?
Ako, well, syempre naging teacher ko mga legends. No? Tinry ko yung best. Si Father Ferrer, si Father Dacanay. Naging teacher ko. Sa philosophy, si Sir Roy Tolentino. Paborito ko yun na Filipino ang Philo.
Why did you have to get the legends? Kasi yung iba, ayaw na nila ng komplikasyon sa buhay nila. Pero masokista ka rin, no? Parang hindi ka makakatapos ng Ateneo hanggat di mo dinadaanan yung mahihirap na subjects.
Ako feeling ko, pag pinaghirapan, mas sulit eh.
Ang ganda. Very, very Robredo. Okay.
And si Ma'am Marichi Guevara was my teacher in sociology and my thesis advisor. And I was also fortunate, Noel, na nagturo din ako when I was working in DSWD and also parts of the work in the campaign. Ang de-stress, ang ginagawa ko para mag-de-stress ay magturo. So nagturo ako na...
I wanna ask you there because tayo din, parang yun yung kasi ang laki ng responsibilidad mo sa labas. Tapos nun, ang grabe yung politika, but when you're inside the classroom, mararamdaman mo yung effect mo dun sa mga tao mismo. No? Parang yun yung diretsong mga tao on the ground. Saka yung hindi nila ibibigay sa guyo yung sagot na gusto mo lang. Kasi the plurality of ideas pag nasa class ka, yun yung in-encourage natin. What was the effect of your teaching sa sarili mo?
Ako, groundedness and bringing me back to my roots. Kasi it's easy to get frustrated in this work, no? In government, in politics. Ang dali maging frustrated. But when I come home to Ateneo, then I remember that we are all parang pantay-pantay tayo. Hindi natin alam, no? There's a master plan, there's a bigger plan. But we try our best to change people's lives one at a time, di ba? Ma-influence man lang.
Ang ganda. At saka yung ayos ng pag-iisip, no? Pero kasi pag nasa labas ka, parang ang daming ibang problema. At yun yung taught us yung pag-ayos ng pag-iisip, no? Yung to put everything into 3 points. Yung mabilis lang concise pagsabi.
Yeah.
Tapos it's only there that you read good books. Kasi kung hindi, napako ka siguro kachichismis ang buhay ng mga tao. Yun siguro. Other things that you miss in Ateneo. Where did you eat when you were a student? Cafeteria ka talaga? Or kami kasi sa Comdep may manangs, di ba? Nakita mo sa
yes, manangs.
Yes, na-miss
pag
namin.
After PE,
yes.
Long, pag walang budget, longganisa. Pag may budget.
That's true.
Pag may budget yung liempo.
Do you see yourself like going back to school again or teaching?
Siguro, magturo. Kasi nga, it's life-giving eh. Parang it's not work for me. Yung pagtuturo is not work. It's actually helping me also process my experiences as I journey with young people.
Yeah, and that's what you're doing now, no? Parang ganon. And kapatid, ito yung what's the whole feeling that people don't see that point of things na pinaglaban natin during our time. Parang yun, at this point, kasi parang kami lalo na siguro, were we a failure na nung pinaglaban natin sa EDSA, parang naibabalik at nababalik ng mga tao. At parang yung mga tao parang oblivious to what really happened during those how many years na parang trinay nating baguhin yung lipunan.
Ako, I don't feel any sense of frustration. In fact, kung dahil nasa context tayo ng pag-uusap tungkol sa philosophy at sa Ateneo, parang dun nga nagmumula yung, I think, may pinanggagalingan sila. Parang gusto kong susubukang unawain yung pinanggagalingan ng mga ibang tao na iba yung paningin sa akin. Kasi sa tingin ko, parang the more we empathize and put ourselves in other people's shoes, the better we'll be able to understand and then connect. Kasi parang gusto natin palagi baguhin yung isip. Pero I think before we can change other people's minds, it's important to respect first where they're coming from and then connect from there.
That's true. So how do you answer those people now na nakabase sa TikTok or sa social media ang kanilang concept ng nationhood, no? Or yung kung ano yung mabuti sa lipunan. So how do you, ikaw, tinatry mo yan sabihin sa mga volunteers, so how do you connect to people who are not your supporters? Ganda yan. So,
ako yung whether on social media or face-to-face, we have
makinig yung mga taong gustong mag-transform, no? Kasi maganda daw si Georgina yung magsasabi sa atin, no? How do you approach those people na iba yung pananaw, and how do you win them over?
Yung Psych for Lenny, one of our volunteer groups, created this program called Gabay sa Pakikipag-usap. Wherein you really try to establish a connection first with the person you're talking with. Kamusta ka? Nasaan ka sa nasan may kandidato ka na ba? Nasaan ka sa pagdedesisyon? And honestly, it's easier when we ask questions than when we say what they should think. So, and I think ganun yung on TikTok, parang kilalanin din muna natin sila, and we're not saying na tama lahat na nakikita natin. In fact, that's what we're fighting against. Kasi ang daming fake news, ang daming disinformation, and we want to push back against those fake news and disinformation. But we also parang mas understand bakit ang dami nito at bakit maraming naniniwala dito. Kasi I think kailangan din natin na mas magkaroon ng better understanding if we want to be able to change the situation.
Yan nga eh. So parang the openness, tama ka, the respect and the openness, and then slowly, no, samahan sila dun sa pagpoproseso ng mga yan. Pero nakakapagod, kapatid, ha? Parang hindi sinusukuan, pero parang at what point do you say, ito yung alternative?
I think iba-iba yung readiness and timing. And when trying to convince someone, timing is best eh. Para yung panliligaw. Although palagi naman, minsan sabi ng asawa ko, ako daw yung nanligaw sa kanya. So, so baka I can speak to that a bit, no?
Kasi mabait tingnan yung asawa mo kasi parang hindi siya nagagalit. Diba?
So, I think yung panliligaw, diba? You get to know the person. You wait for the right time to ask the right question.
That's true.
And I think as long as we are able to respect each other, but also share our positions. Kasi may mga umikot sa social media yung mga parang, kung ano ako, kung ito yung kandidato ko, respect. Parang ang hirap naman doon na doon nagtatapos. Doon nagsisimula, di ba? Ang pakikipagkapwa at pakikipag-usap, nagsisimula sa respeto. Pero kailangan magbalitaktakan. Kailangan mag-usap tayo.
Yes.
Oo, kailangan mag-usap tayo kasi hindi naman pwedeng palagi na lang agree to disagree. Kasi sa totoo lang, may mga bagay na pwede tayo mapagkasundoan after natin mag-usap. So siguro sa mga volunteers natin, we encourage them not to be very patient, but and persistent, but still very respectful then of the process.
Ang galing. At paano mo sinasabi sa kanila, huy, merong tama at mali? Kasi parang ngayon, kasi na-blur. Kapatid, di ba? Parang, nung panahon, yan na yung pangmatanda, yung panahon natin, pag nagpipilosopiya, meron talaga tayong tama. May tama at mali. May mabuti at hindi. So, paano mo yung binubuhay pagkausap mo yung ibang tao?
Yeah, I think if we connect it to their own experiences and then they realize may disconnect doon sa pinaniniwalaan nila, doon sa actual lived experience nila. So sometimes it's really just guiding people to reflect on their own reality. And totoo ba yung pinaniniwalaan mo? Bakit ganito? Bakit hirap ka pa rin? Bakit ganito? And then they realize, parang baka pwede kong pag-isipan yan. So yun, parang I think we're here to guide each other, make the right decision on election day.
That's true.
First, tayo nakapag-decision tayo.
Yeah.
Tayo nakapag-decision tayo, hinihikayat natin yung iba na makita kung anong nakikita rin natin. And that's what the volunteers are here for.
Yeah.
The volunteers are here to also guide people in their decision-making process. And we believe na pag nagkaroon tayo ng pagkakataon na mag-usap, house to house talaga, no? Dyan tayo babalik. Kakatok tayo sa bahay, makikipagkamustahan tayo, makikipagkapwa-tao tayo. At doon tingin natin, makikita rin na yung the right choice for the election is really VP Lenny and Senator Kiko.
Ang tanong, paano pa sasagutin, anong sagot mo doon sa mga taong nagsasabi, sino yung choice mo? Sige ganito, basta. Bakit? Di ba tinanong mo bakit? Kapatid yun ang hirap. Di ba parang pag tinanong mo bakit? Basta.
Yun yung kinukwento ko na nababasa ko rin na parang basta, tapos parang hayaan mo na lang ako. Pero parang I think siguro part of it also, finding the right person. Sino ba yung pwedeng kumausap dito? Baka ayaw kanya kausap.
That's true.
Baka kaya siya nagbabasta sa'yo ay ayaw kanyang kausap.
Ganda,
so I think minsan nandun din yan sa atin eh. Parang may mga iba nagsasabi na yung mga ibang campaigns masyadong ganito, nakakainis. So siguro talagang we also need to reflect how we can be more effective ambassadors and campaigners as volunteers of the Vice President.
That's true. At ang maganda nga, pag sinabi mo yung nag-shift to pink dahil yan, hindi naman yan yung color ni ma'am. Blue talaga yung color ni ma'am, no? Color. Pero parang it's to accommodate the people, no? The volunteers na nanguna niyan. Pero we're slowly telling people na hindi lang yan pangkakamping. Hindi ba? Parang gusto natin i-embrace na rin nga silang lahat. So can you say that now?
Actually yung pagiging yung pink, parang yung pagiging People's Campaign na to started even before day 1, day 0 pa lang eh. Kasi nga parang yung mga volunteers at that time yung nagsuot ng pink, and it became the color of hope, the color of courage, the color that really symbolizes our unity as a nation. And tingin natin we really want to be inclusive. Palaging naririnig yung get out of our echo chamber, ganyan, lumabas tayo sa echo chamber natin. Kasi totoo dahil kung ang hinihikayat ni VP Lenny na talagang mag-reach out tayo doon sa mga gumagamit, mga words na doon sa mga nasa laylayan. So, and kung tayo lang din yung nag-uusap, medyo mahirap. So, while it's out of our comfort zone na minsan mag-house-house, hindi naman sanay. Gusto lang natin yung masasaya na mga activities. We also really need to do the hard work to win this fight.
Parang nakikita mo yan, yung mga efforts sa mga tao na yun yung hard work, no? So, I'll go to the various emotions, go back to your experience of the campaign, and tell me ano yung instances, no, that you really, number one, really felt happy. Kailan ka happiest dun sa campaign? Can you give me one instance na tipo, ay, ang saya-saya mo?
Ako, I was very happy when VP Lenny announced that she she's going to run and that she is ready for this fight. Kumbaga, I kept telling my friends, medyo natagalan, di ba?
Yeah.
But I kept telling my friends, alam mo, grabe ang tiwala ko kay VP Lenny na sigurado ako, pag nag-decision siya tumakbo, mananalo siya. So parang it felt like it was a victory already when I was listening to her speech announcing that she will run.
Parang yung feeling kasi parang kasalanan na lang natin pag di siya napanalo, di ba? Parang yun, tayo yung may pagkukulang. Kasi kung desidido siya, she really gone for it, no? Do her best to like really win it. Second, kailan ka pinaka-nasad so far sa campaign? Meron kang sad moment, yung katotohanan. Mga kaibigan naman sa kabila. Ako, yung katotohanan, may mga kaibigan kami sa industriya. Yung tipong sabi ko, ay, bakit nandun? Walang-wala. Parang ako talaga yun yung tanong ko. Tapos hanggat kanina may meeting ako, advertising head, na sinasabi, Noel, imagine ang tanong nila sa amin, sino yung iboboto? may offer, maraming offers. Kapatid, na ngayon yata hindi na offer yung ano, 'di ba, yung nakataya. Doon sa industriya namin parang hindi na offer kasi yung mga artistang to, mga entertainers na to, nandyan sumikat dahil doon sa mga tao. At yung ngayong eleksyon, yun yung responsibilidad nilang ibalik sa tao, yung gabayan sila sa tamang pagpili. Doon ako nalulungkot. Ikaw sa hanay ninyo.
Ako, baka medyo mababaw, pero totoo
Oh.
feeling siya na at the end of it, parang hindi ko alam kung anong gagawin ko. Nasasad ako pag hindi nakakapagpa-picture yung mga tao kay VP Lenny.
Ang ganda.
kasi parang I joined her
That's
when
true.
parang pag tinatry siya na makasakay, and nakikita naman natin, minsan sobrang hirap talaga na maka-exit siya.
Ayun.
Pero we know that every single person there, parang having a photo with her would mean the world to them.
That's
And
true.
nung nasa Manila, merong isa na bagong opera siya. So meron pa siyang tahi. And then lumapit siya, gusto niyang matry magpa-picture. Medyo 60 ka na eh. So lumayo na lang din siya. Tapos nung nag-disperse na yung crowd, hawak niya yung phone niya, tapos sabi niya, hindi man lang ako nakapagpa-picture. Ano ako parang, pwede po bang bumalik si Ma? I mean, pero, yun, sad ako doon, pero at the same time, di ba, it's bittersweet kasi parang masaya ka dapat, di ba, na talagang yung mga tao very committed and they really feel that they're a part of this. If only we can, but alam mo naman
Gawan
na
natin ang paraan, no? Kung minsan hanggat kaya nating gawan ng paraan. Ganoon naman ka-accommodating si ma'am. Pero yun
Super. Siya yung pinaka nagtatry. Pag nalaman niya yon, siya pa yung magre-reach out, siya pa yung magsasabi na
totoo yan. Sa protocol natin sasabihin, tatlo lang yung groups ng picture taking. Pero yun yung totoo, sumusobra doon eh. So, parang yun. Ang maganda naman.
Yun ang bilin ni VP Lenny. Kung mapagbibigyan talaga. Hindi, kung mapagbibigyan natin, parang to really let people have a chance to have an encounter with her. Kasi yun nga parang yun yung mga hardworking people on the ground who really work day in, day out, walang kapalit. Sila pa yung nagbibigay. Sila pa yung gumagastos. Sila yung nagpapaprint ng sariling tarp, nagpapagawa ng sariling t-shirt, nagpapagawa ng sariling flyer, nagagastos pang commute. So, dito baliktad. Tao yung gumagastos. And sometimes, nagbebenta pa. Yun, baka sad part din yun. Pero parang may nabalitaan kami na may volunteer na nagbenta ng cellphone para makapagpa-print ng tarp.
Oh my God.
It's a happy, sad story. Pero at the end of the day, I choose to just be inspired by people's commitment and work harder to really help in this work.
Sabi niya yan, ina-acknowledge yung effort ng mga tao na bago pa, the people are so invested in this campaign. Kaya in any way na pwede niyang ibabalik niya yon. No? So, next. Ano yung pinaka-nakakatawang experience mo sa campaign? Can you make one really funny thing? Sa amin na napunta kami sa ibang yung sa Albay. Tapos one end talagang binagtas namin na parang lumipad yung sasakyan kasi we have to explain to everyone na si ma'am hindi na pipirmi sa isang lugar lang, di ba? Parang she moves from one town to another. Tapos yun, kailangan humabol. Ang maganda pa kapatid, during our first, kita mo yan, no? Doon sa Bicol, doon sa parang GK House, Angat Buhay Housing Project.
Yeah.
Di ba parang bawal late?
Sa Lupi, Pamsur.
Sa Lupi, yes. Parang, and then we saw, umakyat lahat ng mga senators na late si Senator Gordon, di ba? And ang galing lang na parang na-respect din yung na tipong hindi kailangan mag-grandstanding, yung tipong alam niya late ako, pupunta na ako sa next town. So parang it's setting the pace also na, we have to be prompt, we have to be respectful of each other's schedule. Kasi kung traditional politician lang yan, isisingit at magbibida-bida sa microphone. And ako talaga, first leg pa lang, na-set yung ground rules, no? Be on time, and then pupunta tayo as a team. Ang galing lang. Ikaw naman, ano ka nakakatawa?
Yun.
Go.
Dun sa kwento mo talagang really shows the type of leadership ni VP na very infectious and influential na nadadala niya tayong lahat dun sa ganoong kung ano yung klaseng tao siya and we're able to...
Kung ano yung tama din, di ba? Parang yun. So,
medyo corny yung sa akin kasi napag-usapan na natin kanina. Pero yung mga pagbabasa niya ng placard. Kasi talagang...
Game. Hindi nyo ba ini-explain kung ano yung ibig sabihin? Kung yung Dax for Lenny. Kailan nyo nalaman ano ibig sabihin ng Dax?
hindi ko rin alam. Pero parang alam niya kasi natawa na siya, di ba, nung binasa niya. So baka alam
sa Maynila. Kasi from Cebu, hindi pa. Di ba?
Pinipigilan ko sabihin yung mga naaalala ko kasi baka maano tayo.
Okay lang naman, pero make her real. Kasi yun naman eh. Ang maganda yung may quip siya. Di ba? Yun yung commentary niya, commentary niya na nakaka-endear sa kanya sa mga tao. And
malalagot daw siya pag malalagot na siya pag sinabi niya yun. Pero sasabihin pa rin niya. So super funny.
So, well, that is funny. No, at least parang organically it grew in the campaign. No, so and that next. When did you feel most appreciated as a volunteer? Kailan mo naramdaman yun?
I think I would stick with the image of pag-alis ni VP and people are overwhelmed. Tapos talagang kung ano yung kaya nila, kung magkakwento sila na talagang yun yung best moment in their lives, maiiyak pa sila. Talagang yun yung pinaka. Kasi di ba, we don't really need affirmation as individuals, pero makita natin na very fulfilled and satisfied yung mga volunteers is the happiest moment for me as someone who also is a volunteer working with others.
Galing. Balik natin sa basic unit, no? Ang challenge sa atin, kahit sa pamilya natin, nagre-resonate yung mga pinaglalaban natin. How does your family feel about your involvement now? Now na meron, alam ko, na merong guilt din na mas marami kang oras sa kampanya kaysa sa pamilya mo, kapatid.
Ano na lang, 67, I tell myself 67 days to go.
Okay.
And this is for the future of my son. So, no regrets. And kung hanggat kaya, minsan pinapagsuot ko ng pink yung baby boy ko.
Yes.
Kinasama ko siyang kung anong kaya. And I'm also really very grateful and lucky na yung husband ko is fully supportive of my decision to take part in this campaign.
Anong masasabi mo dun sa mga nakipag-break sa mga jowa dahil hindi maintindihan? Alam mo, may mga ganyan sa hanay natin, di ba? Hindi maintindihan yung involvement ng mga tao sa kampanya. And it's not very real, di ba?
Oo. Hindi kanya disturb.
Totoo yun, no? And even work, no, that you have to leave work, if the work does not understand yung unang work nila, parang hindi naiintindihan yung ano ng kampanya. Si Sai, nagtatry mag-resign.
Nagpangalan ka talaga, ha?
Nagtatry na mag-resign, pero sabi, wag. Pero na-accommodate, basta makiusap ka lang na, para sa bayan. Pero hanggang saan, kapatid, yung pwede nating idahilan yung para sa bayan, di ba? So, yun.
Ako, at the end, parang when we say para sa bayan, hindi naman siya pakamartir na para sa bayan, di ba? Kasi pag sinabi nating para sa bayan, para sa'yo rin yun. Para sa akin din yun. Para sa ating lahat din yun, di ba? So, it's not a sacrifice na magiging mga heroes tayo dahil ginagawa natin to para sa bayan. Ginagawa natin to para maging buti rin yung buhay natin dito sa bayan natin.
Totoo yun, kapatid. And this question, bakit mo ginagawa to? Ako talaga yun. Di ba, we always go back to our wife. Napapagod tayo, di ba? Parang in the end, bakit mo ginagawa yan?
Ako kasi, particularly for VP Lenny, nakita ko na the type of country that I've been dreaming of since I was a kid will really happen with her as our president. Maikli, Noel. Nung bata ako, lumaki ako sa Paco, Manila. Tapos may mga kaklase, may mga kaibigan ako doon na nag-aaral sila sa public school. Tapos nung nag-aaral ako sa isang private school for girls, parang hindi na kami naging friends. And as a child, parang ang sama-sama ng loob ko na bakit based sa school kung sino yung pwede ko maging kaibigan. Sure. At naniniwala ako na magiging pantay-pantay lahat, bawat isa sa atin. At hindi i-divide ng society o ng eskwelahan mo kung sino yung pwede mong maging kaibigan.
Ganda, no? At kasama mo sila ngayon dun sa sa kampanya or sa laban na to. Parang, were you able to reconnect with old friends because of this? Ako, oo eh. Yung tipong ganon. Ay, nag-freeze. Yeah. Were you able to reconnect with your friends in this fight?
Oo.
Nako, ang yung computer, ayan. Na ano na tayo ng mga cavities ng Cavite. Ayan.
I'm back.
Good. Yun. Are you able to like reconnect with your friends because of this
Oo.
fight?
Yes, sa Facebook nakikita ko sila, nakakausap ko sila, and parang symbolically na rin by being able to be in the same team as people from different walks of life. Diba? Itong kampanya ni VP Lenny, hindi siya pang mahirap, hindi siya pang mayaman, para sa lahat sa. Dito pa lang, na-inspire na ako. And alam ko na ganito yung klase na government na magkakaroon tayo with VP Lenny.
Grabing optimism, kapatid. At ramdam na ramdam ko yan. At yan talaga naman yung gusto nating irradiate, no? Pag pumupunta tayo sa labas. Pero, end point is, are you ready to lose? Parang, if what we hope for does not happen, or what we pray for even does not happen, at ginawa na natin lahat.
Yung palagi natin naririnig sa mga volunteers, this is the fight of our lives, di ba? And we are here to win. We are here to win, not just for our team, but for everyone. So, hindi tayo matatalo kasi magkakasama tayong lahat dito.
That's true. Pero wala kang exit plan. I know of some people, di ba? Totoo to ha. Yan, pinag-uusapan, naiiyak kami sa ganyan. Yung tipong pagpunta doon sa Naga. I know of some people, artists even, na parang, uy, ayoko nang tumandang bitter. Parang gano'n, sinabing gano'n na tinutodo ko ngayon kasi pag hindi nakita ng mga Pilipino lahat ng mga gusto natin na mabuti para sa bansa, at least ako may option. Parang naisip mo yon ever?
Ako, focus lang kasi ako. Honestly, ang calendar ko hanggang election day lang. Parang it's like nothing else parang matters, di ba? Parang ang feeling ko ang 2022 ay hanggang doon sa day ng election. Then we figure out what happens after that. Of course, we want the best results for our country. But I think this is not the time to despair, di ba? This is not the time to think na baka ganito, baka ganyan. Parang eyes on the ball, and 67 days to go. No time to waste. Every
wala
day
kang plan A, plan B, kapatid. Walang ganon.
Wala. The plan is a daily commitment to talk to people and to convince people that
Believe talaga ako dyan. Na parang hindi ka handang matalo. Or hindi, with what we're having now, parang panalo na tayo, no? Yun yung the whole attitude.
Siguro don't get me wrong. Parang, in fact, when I do the work that I'm doing now and with all of you, parang I don't even, hindi ko na nga tinitinan ano yung magiging result. Basta gawin natin lahat ng kaya natin gawin. Ako, tingin ko, magbubunga naman sa So, kumbaga, I don't want to give false hopes. I don't want to be overconfident. We're really here to work day in and day out in the fight of our life. So, hanggang doon, hanggang sa paggas ng balot, then we wait. We wait and we see how the Filipinos would decide.
Nakakaiyak naman yan. Nakakaiyak yan. Kasi parang, parang we're so invested in this, pero at the end of all this exercise, all the things that we're doing, parang hindi pa rin, it's not about us. It's really not about us. It's what we gain, no, in the process. And then, kapatid, ano yung visa? Sorry, kasi we have to go back to being Ateneans. Ano yung, at pasukin na natin yung isang attorney na gusto nating pagpugayan, no? Kasi isa sa mga nagawa niya, the past day was to really also fight for what we believe in, no? And what was taught to us in school, no? Isang com-major, nandito si Attorney Locke, bago matapos yung segment mo, no? In the end, ayun, Attorney, hello. Ayun po. Magandang hapon at ito isa tong magandang reunion ng mga Atenista bago po matapos si Georgina na mas bata naman sa atin, pero yun, maganda lang binabalikan yung karanasan natin bilang mga Atenista. Ano yung bisa ng pagiging Atenista mo, Georgina, na mahalaga, na dala-dala mo, o yung nababago din dito sa proseso na kinakasangkutan natin?
Ako, yung pananampalataya at pagtitiwala, di ba? Nagagawa natin lahat ng kaya natin gawin. At the end, the results are beyond us, di ba? The results of our work, we don't control the full picture. But we're grateful ako yung pagiging yung upbringing ko from Ateneo, saints ko, mga madre, mga Benedictine sisters, that attitude of gratitude, to even have the opportunity and the privilege to be in this people's campaign is a gift in itself.
That's true. And then we have here Attorney Luke Espiritu, who's a man of the hour also. Naka-green siya dun sa ano niya kasi Lasalisa yung base niya, ha. The grade school siya sa Lasal. Pero nag-high school at college siya at naging attorney siya sa Ateneo. Nabalitaan mo naman siguro sa Georgina, no? Anong masasabi mo dun sa ginawa niya for standing up for everything that we believe in?
Ako, yung courage is something na mahirap mahanap mga tao ngayon. And we respect people na katulad po niya, na nagpapakita pa rin ng tapang.
Diba? Yun, diba sabi ganun, kung nakakahawa yung takot, sana nakakahawa rin yung tapang. At yun ano. And we hope to see you, attorney. Actually, kayo na susunod. The next stop of the Robredo campaign is after Cavite. Sabi ko nga, Cavite versus the cavities there. Kasi this is it's a Marcos country, sir. Alam niyo naman yun. And then you're going to Bulacan and you're going to Mindanao. And then the big rally will be Bacolod. And Sir Luke, I think, is from Bacolod. So, yun. Are you ready to embrace people who are not part of the Senate slate, Georgina?
At ako, even parang may opportunity talaga to really expand. Kailangan natin magparami and we need to be open to collaborate with people from different groups.
Because I remember Nery Colmenares joined us in Quezon City, remember? So there was parang ganon. And we hope yun nga, parang i-promote siya yung si Attorney Luke, yung bagong rockstar ngayon na sa mga candidates katulad ng ginawa niya.
Oo. But although, of course, syempre yung Senate slate ni VP is really fixed na yan, no? Since the time that we announced. But we welcome all the support that's from different groups.
And we look for common grounds, no? But yun naman yung hinahanap natin, yung mga bagay na pagkakasunduan natin, hindi yung makakapag-divide pa sa atin. So, parting words, Georgina, I know it's such a full day. You started at 7 o'clock in the morning in Cavite. What are you expecting and what will we be expecting from people in Cavite today?
We're very excited for the rally tonight. It's a party, it's a celebration of people coming together from all walks of life, celebrating a people's campaign for the candidacy of VP Lenny and Senator Kiko. And I'm excited to see faces of hope, mga tao na naniniwala na magiging maayos at mahusay ang ating buhay sa gobyernong tapat dahil aangat ang buhay ng lahat.
So, let's have Attorney Luke respond to it. Bago ba umalis po ang ating dating spokesperson ngayon parang leader ng Robredo People's Council. Attorney Luke, ano masasabi mo sa isang kapwa Atenista?
I-greet ko muna yung dalawang kasama nating Atenista. Magandang hapon, Noel. Magandang hapon, Georgina. You know, I thought, Noel, you were older than me, but you look younger than me. Of course, Georgina.
Po yan, pero I thought, well, I really thought because a batchmate of yours messaged me yesterday kasi kabatch ka raw ba ni Susie Entrata at ni JB Bones?
Yes.
Yun nga eh. But I thought that block. Estudyante ko.
Okay.
So, kala ko nandun ka sa block. Mapag-usapan natin mamaya, no? But you went to COM and you went to law school after, no? But
yes.
Greet Georgina. She's one of us and lahat ng pinaglalaban niya, pinaglalaban rin ho namin.
Yes,
so,
Georgina. And in fact, I hope na we could, this unity, we really must have unity to frustrate this Duterte Marcos axis of evil.
Yun nga po yung sasabihin ko sana, yung unity natin, kasi may isang kampanya, no? Unity ng unity, pero yung unity ng kabutihan yata, at yung unity ng tama. Kasi pag hindi to unity ng kawatan, no?
Yes, we must not be limited to the electoral frame na magkaka-unity lang tayo to have ourselves elected. But we must also be politically united to fight against the Marcos restoration, the Duterte, and then what they represent the vilest form of trapo politics in our country.
That's true. Thank you, Georgina. We'll continue to pray with and for you. this second hour, we will devote to the rock star of the SMNI campaign, debate, no? Na, well, hindi naman sinasadya, pero parang pinag-adya na rin ng Diyos na kailangan niyang umangat doon at tayo mismo bilang mga ating appreciate what He has done. We'll pause for a break now and we will have Attorney Luke Espiritu. Sabi nga nila, ang magandang espiritu na sumapi sa atin. Kasi despite everything that was said about the SMNI debate, nandito siya sa atin para magsabi ng totoo at tama.
Well, this is it. Welcome to the jackpot round. Final question na to. All or nothing. Either uuwi kang panalo o lumaan sa loob ng 6 na taon. Ano? Game ka? Ang tanong, sa pagpili ng kandidato ngayong 2022, ano ang gagawin mo? A. Manghula. Ano to? Ini-mini-mini mo? Wag, sobrang delix yan. Kung sa feelings nga, kailangang sigurado tayo bago tumaya sa taong mahal natin. Dapat mas sigurado tayo doon sa pipiliin natin ngayong eleksyon. We can't fall for and be with the wrong person. B. Phone a friend. Mag-ingat sa mga sabi-sabi. Dami pa namang fake news dyan. C. Survey says, hindi porket nangunguna raw, magaling na. Minsan, magaling lang mambudol. Or D, piliin ng sigurado at may napatunayan na. May malinis na track record, palaging nandyan, at hindi nagtatago. Hey, TikTok, tumatakbo ang oras. At huwag puro TikTok. Mag-isip-isip na habang may oras ka pa. Sa eleksyon ngayong Mayo, hindi lang 1 milyong piso ang nakataya rito. Future mo at ng buong Pilipinas ang mababago. Kaya, intindihin na ang mga kailangan. I-eliminate mo na yung mga obvious namang mali. At huwag maniniwala sa mga pangakong ginto. Doon tayo sa magaling. Hindi sa sinungaling at hindi sa magnanakaw. Final answer, sure na. Tandaan, huwag magpapabudol. Oh, may apela ba? Game lang. Pero bangon muna. At magpakita.
Huwag magpapabudo. Huwag mo na kayang palampasin. Huwag na huwag mo na kayang palampasin. Huwag na huwag mo na kayang patagalin. Tenanaw mo na gawin mo na. Lumilipad hanggang ulan. Tumiting ka.
We're here now with the rock star of the SMNI debate. Hindi naman sinasadya yun, pero ang maganda lang, he echoed what we wanted to say. And I'm proud he's an Atenean. Although, yun nga, parang ako naman, it doesn't matter na now during the elections, mas proud ako sa kanya dahil sa tinahak niyang landas dun sa pagiging kaisa ng mga manggagawa at yung mga taong nangangailangan. Let's just go through what he went through, no? Grade school siya sa Lasal Bacolod. Actually, Lasal Bacolod yung una, grade school Lasal Green Hills. Tapos nag-high school ng Ateneo de Manila, nag-AB Communications 1997 ng Ateneo de Manila, University AB Communications. Tapos 2002, Juris Doctor ng Ateneo de Manila Law School. Sinasabi niya na sa isang interview, I monitored all his interviews, sinabi niya hindi niya talaga plano na parang kinuha lang niya yung communications bilang parang launching pad ng kanyang law school education. So let's welcome him now kasi marami pa siyang mamaya explain tungkol sa pinagdaanan niya. Attorney Luke Espiritu, magandang hapon po at mahiwagang pagbabalik muli sa Ateneo. Kaya yung huling tumuntong sa Ateneo.
Alam mo, Noel, I really like the format, homecoming. Because
Yes.
I always like going home to my home school, the
True.
Ateneo.
That's true.
In fact, long after I graduated, parati akong bumabalik dyan sa library ng college at nagre-research
Opo.
dyan. At meron ako isang binabalikan dyan, wala na ngayon, yung inihaw ni Manang.
Si Manang, pinag-usapan lang ho namin si Georgina kasi yun doon tayo na since I graduated as a Philo major, pero yung I had to anchor my philosophy into something more concrete, and I went to broadcast communications under Father Nim Gonzalez na yun, siguro naabutan mo rin. So ang kainan ho talaga natin si Manang's doon, no? Yung
Yes,
inihaw
the
niya.
best inihaw I've ever tasted. Wala nang makaka-compare dyan.
So, well, let's unahin na natin yan kasi ginawa ko rin yan kay Georgina, this being a homecoming. No? So, we celebrate who we were, what we love, what we stand for, and what's next for us. What kind of a student were you, sir? Were you diligent? Were you a crammer?
Well, crammer ako, but parang two phases ang aking stay in the Ateneo. High school was a different one. I was very religious. I became president of the Ateneo Catechetical Instruction League.
Oh, that's nice.
Okay. When I entered college, ibang-iba
So,
na.
But with ASIL, you had teach-ins, di ba? Pupunta kayo sa community. So earlier on, you were involved with communities already.
Yes. In fact,
Yes.
during that CNN debate I had with Pia Hontiveros,
Yeah.
I explained to her na ang culture ko is really with the lower classes of our society.
That's very good.
Dahil katikista ko eh. Pumupunta na ako sa mga communities even when I was young as 14 years old. And ang kasalamuha ko talaga ay yung mga urban poor. Nagtuturo tayo dyan sa community na yan. I was very dedicated as a catechist. Yung pagiging catechist ko, siguro dala-dala ko rin hanggang ngayon because until now, I still educate workers eh. Very much hands-on ako sa worker education. Pero although iba ngayon, ang tinuturo ko, contractualization, bakit mali yan?
Maganda, okay pa rin ho yan. Kasi tama rin yan, iba yung social justice. Well, that part, no? May pananampalataya pero may practical na material na basis, di ba? So,
yes.
That's it. No? So, saan po kayo? Tinanong ni Pia kahapon sa inyo sa CNN, anong tambayan yun? Was it the library? Or was it, sabi niya sa Colayco, naabutan pa ni Georgina yung Colayco Hall, yung transition bago mag-MVP Hall. Kayo po, saan kayo?
Alam mo ang problem nung college, naging behind ako sa mga kaklase ko. Dahil pumasok akong seminaryo for 1 year sa Salesians naman. Then after that, I returned to the Ateneo. 1 year behind na ako dun sa mga kakilala ko talaga. So medyo na-lost na ako doon kasi hindi ko kakilala yung kabatch ko eh. So
Tanong lang. Kasi ako rin galing Don Bosco nung elementary. So why did you go to the Salesians and not to the Jesuits?
Actually, I also applied with the Salesians. Now, pero hindi ako tinanggap with the Jesuits pala. Pero
bakit hindi kayo?
Pero ang advice sa akin ng Jesuits, hindi ka muna kasi they had to make a test and interview, and they masyado akong zealot as a being a religious person at that time. Masyado akong sincero, zealot. Nakita ng mga Ismita, mukhang hindi balansyado ang buhay pa nito. Hindi pa niya nakikita ang mundo. Hindi pa niya nakikita ang mundo eh. Kasi masyadong idealistic. So they advised me na mag 2 years ka muna, mag-college ka muna, 2 years.
That's true.
So after 2 years, napagtanto ko, tama ang Jesuit. Tama ang Jesuit. Alam mo, buti na lang, di ba? Buti na lang, hindi naman talaga ako pwede pala. Kasi syempre, masyadong idealistic. Nung naging college na ako, mas maraming options ako nakita sa aking buhay. So kung pumasok akong Jesuit, tapos saka ko pa na-discover, di lumabas din ako ng Jesuit.
That's true. Diba? Going through your academic life, sir, which subjects did you excel in and which didn't you like?
Even before, it was history.
You like
history talaga.
Like history.
Tapos medyo average lang tayo sa mathematics and science.
Kaya tayo nag-communications, di ba?
Kaya ako nag-lawyer eh. Kasi
kaya hindi tayo yaman. Kaya hindi tayo yaman kasi hindi pera yung orientation natin, hindi numero, no?
Yes, oo. And I owe that to the Jesuits. Kasi when we were in high school, na ewan ko kung naabutan mo si Father Jose Cruz,
Yes, Joe Cruz, yeah.
Mm.
Yes, yes.
Yung si Afterburner, di ba?
Yes,
Parati niya
yes,
pinupush tayo natin, no?
Opo.
Ikuan mo, i-ignite mo yung afterburners mo, yung
That's true,
kailangan.
that's true. And
And
yung palaging umaano, no, what we have in excess is taking away from other people.
yes,
Diba?
oo.
Yan yung palaging parang dinidikdik sa utak natin. Sir, sino yung mga teachers or yung mga formators nyo na hindi nyo makakalimutan? At bakit?
Well, Eloisa Bermeo is one.
Eloy.
Our high school teacher. Kasi
Na
talagang
nakapangasawa ng estudyante.
yes, I heard.
Eloy,
I heard.
Ang gandang love story.
And
di ba?
I won't be surprised kasi
That's
talagang mahal niya yung mga estudyante niya eh. Tapos syempre, siguro yung estudyante niya was kasi she's really a good person.
Galing,
Diba? A good
no?
person.
Ang galing.
I can't forget Eloisa Bermeo, and also even if we did not become a teacher, Father James O'Brien.
Father O'Brien. Yes.
Uh,
Parang these are the people we like parang look up to kasi they walk their talk. Yun, di ba? Parang makakalimutan mo yung tinuturo nila sa school. Pero hindi naman. Pero yung mas malalaman mo yung epekto nila sa inyo. Yun.
Yes.
Yeah, at mabuting tao talaga. No? So, teachers, traditions in school that you like had or that you enjoyed attending. Talk about your school life. What did you look forward to? UAP games did you attend?
Well, hindi ako masyado into
Or conflicted ka kasi nasa
UAP.
ka rin?
Alam mo, sa totoo lang, at the time, lalo na nung college ako, by heart aktivista.
Okay.
So medyo seryosong tao na ako even before. Isa nga yan sa problema ko sa aking buhay because I did not enjoy my younger days. Masyadong seryosong tao. Masyadong seryoso eh. When I was younger, sobrang religyoso. When I was in college, sobra namang aktivista at heart. Pero at the time
maganda siguro pag-usapan, did the times affect you? Because we were the EDSA kids, no? Parang ako, yun eh. Parang was your political awakening or your religious affinity affect your makeup as a person?
The child is the father of the man. Meaning to say, yung influences mo nung bata ka. Yan din naman yun eh. Yung pinanganak tayo, tandaan mo Noel, nung kasagsagan ng Marcos.
That's true.
Kaya nga hindi ko talaga ma-imagine na magkakaroon ng Marcos restoration.
Pareho rin ho tayo. Totoo
kasi
yun.
We grew up at a time na alam natin na masama talaga si Marcos.
Totoo
And
yun.
naririnig natin yung mga namamatay. Hindi lang siya fake news dahil kapitbahay mo eh. Tulad nung madre doon sa amin sa Bacolod, ay victim ng extrajudicial killing. I grew up when I was like 5 or 6 years old. I grew up with the stories of my father being a lawyer for tenant farmers who were salvaged by a warlord in Kabangkalan. So and when I was in elementary in Lasal, I saw pictures of those tenant farmers who were excavated from yung kung saan sila nilibing. And I saw my father standing with yung PC captain at the time who was actually a good police personnel. Hindi naman siya masama. So you would hear the sermons of the priest at the time in Negros. Negros pa ako, pinanganak at lumaki bilang bata. So mga pare nung panahon sa Negros, mga liberation theology advocates yan eh. So
kasi
yung mga
ramdam yung gap, no? At ramdam yung gap ng mahirap at mayaman. So parang may lifestyle change ba? Yung tipong ganon?
Yes, oo. So kahit na ganon, di ba, yun ang mga naririnig mo. Tapos yung social justice, yung human rights. Tapos pagpunta mo pa sa Ateneo, even as young as high school student ka, social liberation theology is being taught in the Ateneo. Social justice is being taught in the Ateneo.
That's true.
So tapos religyoso pa ako, kasalamuha ko pa ang masa on a normal basis. Hindi ko naman kaibigan ng mga medyo alta sosyedad eh. So
hindi lang pag-eleksyon, no? Hindi lang pag-eleksyon.
Hindi pang-eleksyon. So yung contradiction na yon, the unity of that contradiction in me, it created what I am today. Though I am an Ateneo graduate, may na-educate sa isang private institutions. Pero yung aking background as a young child ay alam ko na masama ang diktadurya, alam ko masama ang human rights violations, ang extrajudicial killing. Tapos kasalamuha ko pa ang masa. Tapos I was educated. Then therefore you become more critical about your society. At hindi ka magpapayaman kasi yan ang tinuro ng mga Jesuits sa atin eh. Man for others eh. So hindi pagpayaman ang tinuturo. So eto tuloy yung nangyari sa akin. Hindi ako mayaman, Noel. I blame the Jesuits.
Pareho tayo. Okay na rin lang kasi less of our problems. But the thing here, sir, is well, let's discuss that later kasi yun yung framework ng pagkatao nyo and I appreciate that. When you entered that SMNI debate, sir, did you know what you were going through?
I know na I was going into the lion's den.
That's nice to hear. At least you're aware, no?
Yeah, the participants, they're all stacked up against candidates like me.
That's
Kasi,
true.
Nakita ko naman kung sino sila eh. And of course, yung network itself, yung mga crowd doon, ay partisan for them.
How can you say that, sir? How can you say that? Because I noticed that when Harry Roque was talking, we see people really clapping and cheering him on. So ako, when we watch it, what is the whole atmosphere when you enter the hall? Give us a walkthrough dun sa naramdaman niyo po.
I was already familiar, that's the good thing, because I joined Calyodi during the presidential debates.
Okay.
And alam ko na paano sino mga crowd doon. Nandun ang NTFL ka. In fact, during that time...
Did you feel like it was a trap? Because even until last night, when I was watching it, paulit-ulit, no, yung pag-legalize daw or i-affirm yung budget or i-institutionalize yung body na yon. Sir, so but you knew it was a space for really airing your side, no?
Yes, because we do not fear anything and anyone.
That's true.
And I know naman na kahit yan ay kampo ng doon sa kabila, di ba? Kung sasabihin mo lang ang katotohanan, speak truth to power, ibig sabihin.
That's true.
Talagang talo mo sila. Talo mo sila. Kahit gaano sila kalakas. Kasi ikaw, sincero ka, passionate ka, pinapaniwalaan mo yung katotohanan, sila na nagpe-peddle ng falsehood. Kahit ano, kahit sino pa sila sabihin mo lang ang katotohanan, walang magagawa yan.
Diba? And you were passionate about the truth and you really hold it dear, no? Parang sigurado kayo dun sa nararamdaman niyo. And I laud you there. Sir, let's go to Attorney Gadon. Looking back at what happened, no? Parang nung naproseso niyo ng lahat, you didn't regret having said those things to him, no?
He deserved it. He deserved what I said. And sinampal siya ng katotohanan. Diba? In fact, his own behavior, hindi lang dyan sa SMNI debate, is outrageous. At itong pinapalamon natin sa masang Pilipino, yung kultura ng kabastusan, na pinapalamon din ni Duterte. Tingnan mo si Duterte, di ba? Ginoglorify ang patayan at ginagawang biro ang rape. Binabastos ang kababaihan. Itong klaseng kultura na pinapalamon sa masang Pilipino, this is too much. And nakakatawa lang, they were talking about children in conflict with the law. And you would hear them say na dapat parusahan ng magulang. Ayos kayo paparusahan niyo ang magulang. Sabihin niyo silang may kasalanan sa upbringing ng kanilang mga anak. Samantalang kayo na nandyan sa power, anong tinuturo niyo? Diba? Na okay pumatay ng adik? At okay na yung kabastusan ni Duterte na babarilin yung private part ng mga female NPA na nahuli, na okay lang magbiro tungkol sa rape. Ano ang mga pinapakalat ni Gadon? He was confronted at that time by a fellow senatorial candidate from the Bangsamoro na sabi niya patayin ang mga Moro. Pinapilitan siya mag-apologize. Ano mga sinasabi ni Gadon? Minura niya pa ang mga reporter, ang isang reporter na very sexist ang reporting. Kayo na nagtuturo ng ganyan, kayong mga criminal kayo in power, ang gagaling nyo magsalita na ang mga nanay at tatay netong mga batang ito na in conflict with the law ang dapat parusahan. Ayos yung hypocrisy ninyo, hindi ko talaga masikmura
And in one clear sweep, when you said wag kang bastos, people felt you said what is in our hearts. Sir, well, when you ask people now, ang tanong ko talaga, nasan yung outrage? Because for how many years they've been reacting as such, pero no one has come up to them saying that, na wag kang bastos. Parang
Yes.
anong nangyari sa atin? Why aren't we so vocal into calling out these people?
Sa akin part, why
Sir.
I am vocal.
Yes,
Well,
sir.
we have spent our lives, hindi lang naman ako, kami ni Calyodi sa labor movement, na matagal nang sinusuppress ang mga manggagawa at wala kaming boses. Kami, mga manggagawa ang isa sa mga pinakawalang boses dito sa lipunan natin. And it just builds up. So everything na dapat what should be said, it's just built up. So pretty much the same as all the rest of our kababayans, na itong mga powers that be, na they have a free hand saying those things and adopting policies that are against the majority. Tapos tayo wala rin tayong boses. In fact, pinapatay pa nga, kinikitil pa nga eh. Di ba, pinasara niya ang ABS-CBN, yung mga media practitioners ay pinoprosecute niya ang yung Rappler, binabastos. Talagang sinasara na yung democratic space natin.
Sure,
Na it will just boil over.
But where's the outrage? Parang nagugulat na tayo. Dati nung panahon, pabalik tayo sa panahon natin, di ba we call out people and we feel empowered to call out people. Bakit takot yung mga tao kasi papatayin? Tulad ng ginawa sa mga media establishments?
Ironically, the outrage is there in the support, in the support for Bongbong. That's the ironic thing. Because the masses and the majority are so desperate, nagagamit ni Bongbong yung outrage nila to be directed against a sector of our society na tinatawag nilang dilaw. Yeah. So panggagamit ni Duterte yon, ida-direct niya ang problems dun sa mga dilaw, which using also mga katotohanan, but mixing upon it yung mga agenda niya ng mga mali. Nakuha niya yung rage ng karamihan. But then again, that rage has been misdirected. Because that rage must be directed against the elite system that we have. Sino ba si Duterte? Sino ba siya? Di ba part siya ng elite system? In fact, si Duterte at saka si Marcos, they are the worst representatives of elite democracy or elite dictatorship. Because that's just two sides of the same coin.
Paano yun? Yung sinabi nga ni Atty. Gadon na that was not the forum na para ilambas daw yung mga Marcoses. Well, you thwarted it and you said, it's your time and that it's that forum that you claimed as yours too.
He opened the process. If you review the debate, when the question was asked, in-insert niya. In-insert niya yung pang-kikriticize niya daw sa mga pare. Dahil ang mga pare daw tinuturo na masama si Marcos, tapos mga komunismo daw ang tinuturo. So that was a debate and I have a different opinion about it. Debate yun. Di ba dapat akong mag-refute? Kasi debate yun eh. Ano ako? Magtatahimik? Doon sa ganyang sinasabi? Hindi naman tayo tatahimik dyan. So, it was actually Gadon who opened the discussion to that. Kung wala siyang sinabi, wala naman akong pre-designed intent.
Walang trigger, no? Walang trigger.
Walang trigger. At saka wala akong pre-designed intent na gagawin ko tong forum na ito na anti-Marcos, because that can be the forum. Anything can be the forum. In my campaign sorties, I always talk about Bongbong Marcos. Pero siya mismo ang nagbitbit eh. Okay. So ikaw mismo nagbitbit, sasagutin kita dito.
Ang galing. Ang galing lang po kasi parang iba rin naman si Walden Bello, no? Naging teacher ko rin 'yan sa Ateneo, no? Nung ginawa niya 'yon sa CNN debate, alam mong parang he was like really addressing the elephant in the house, no? Parang wala yung kalaban, no? And I wanna ask you that. How did you feel about that since you were with Calyodi during the presidential debate at nandun pala si Bongbong Marcos. What was your demeanor then? Parang hindi na corner Parang hindi ganon yung naging design ni Calyodi to ask Bongbong and to make him answerable for the issues.
Actually, I would say na wala namang design na binitbit doon except our platform.
Okay.
Yun lang naman yun eh.
Okay.
Si Calyodi was like that. Wala naman siyang design na binitbit doon except kung ano lang talaga ang platform.
I watched it also and I saw na parang feeling ko nga kay Calyodi na frame din siya, no? Dun sa questions on communism, etc. No? And then eventually dun nagtalo. Pero well, you felt kulang yung oras yon na pag-challenge. Mga basic issues.
When I was interviewed by the SMNI, and they asked me for my assessment of the debate. I don't know if they played my interview. Pero I told them na you schedule a debate. 3 kami. Ako, Gadon, at saka si Harry Roque. Bakbakan kami. Sabi ko, sponsor nyo. That's what I told them. Kasi nga, hindi siya sufficient ang time talagang ma-explain natin. At ayaw ko magkaroon ng mistaken notion na this is personality politics. Inatake lang natin si Bongbong.
And those are issues, no?
And it's an issue in itself. The Marcos regime is an issue in itself. Kasi binibitbit yan ni Bongbong mismo to buttress his campaign. Taking what he presents as the good side of that regime. It was the golden age. And yan yung pang-campaign niya sa sarili niya. But then, not including the bad side, which is the human rights record at saka yung pangungurakot. Tapos sasabihin nila ang kasalanan ng ama, hindi kasalanan ng anak. Di ba madaya yun?
I'll go to that. To that, sir. Kasi yan yung point ni Harry Roque, no? Siguro ang hinuhusgahan daw ngayon si Marcos na namatay na, no? At wala raw, according to the records that he studied and carefully studied bago daw siya umoo para naman may iba siyang choice na doon sa slate nila doon na sumama nung nalaman niya at napag-aralan niya na walang sala or walang kinalaman si Bongbong Marcos doon sa mga pagkakasala ng ama. How would you react to that, sir?
Mental dishonesty ang sinasabi ko dyan. Unang-una, nag-create siya ng parang paghihiwalay doon ka sa ama at saka sa anak. But when we talk about human rights violation, we're not just talking about one man committing all of these things. This is a systematic thing. It takes a machinery. It takes an entire regime cooperating with each other in order to create an atmosphere whereby lives are no longer important. And if you're part of the Marcos regime and agree to what it represents and what it believes in and become an active part of it, then you're very much guilty of everything that it has created. And it has created these killings, it has created torture, and it has created imprisonment in the thousands. And we have living witnesses until now na nakaranas ng torture, imprisonment, and we have relatives na hanggang ngayon hindi pa nila makikita ang mga desaparecido nilang mga asawa at mga anak at mga kapatid. At hindi nila matatanggihan. Now, kung sino ba si Bongbong Marcos, ano ang role niya sa regime na yon? He was an active participant in that regime. Hindi lang naman siya inosente na akala mo spoiled brat na anak, na talagang na yung happy-go-lucky lang. He was happy-go-lucky but he took an active part. He was
the beneficiary, sir? You feel he was a beneficiary of that? Or bakit sinasabi ni Harry Roque wala siyang kinalaman at wala namang kaso, wala namang sinampang kaso against him?
Hindi, yun nga. Hindi pwedeng isa-isa. Di ba? Regime yan entire thing. He was the governor of Ilocos. Di ba? I would liken that nga to the Nazi regime. Pwede ba naman sabihin ni Goebbels, wala naman akong pinatay ni isang Jew That's true. Wala siyang pinatay na isang Jew. Pero hindi siya responsible sa Holocaust.
The whole system,
Di ba? Kasi it took an entire Nazi regime to create the Holocaust, the killing of the Jews. Sasabihin ba yan ba pwede maging viable defense ba yan ni Goebbels? Di ba? In fact, many of them use that as a viable defense. Na hindi, wala naman akong pinatay na isang Jew Actually, hindi naman ako part ng planning yan Pero by the mere fact na ikaw ay member at active participant ng Nazi regime, kayo ay co-conspirators that created those monstrosities. Di ba? So therefore, ikaw, Bongbong Marcos, hindi ka pwede maghugas ng kamay. Kalokohan yan. Di ba? Kaya ikaw, Harry Roque, kalokohan din yung sinasabi mo yan.
So paano malalaman ng mga tao to? Well, kasi they've gone to social media, TikTok, and all these things to really revise everything, no? Parang at hindi nag-attend ng mga debates. How are you able to raise these concerns, sir? Salamat at nagpapa-interview kayo ng ganito na after the debate, no? Pero paano ma-overtake ng katotohanan ng hawak ninyo yung lies na pinapakalat po ngayon?
Lies will always have power behind it. At kumakalat ang mga fake news na yan because may power behind it. Hindi lang naman to tipong he said, she said on a plain level. On a plain level. We're not fighting here on a plain level. Sila may mga troll farms sila.
Yes.
May mga billion sila.
Pero sasabihin nila, hindi niya alam raw yung troll farms. Yun yung sabi niya.
Why could we feel it? Na merong mga mambubuska sa atin sa internet, mangbabastos sa atin sa internet, di ba?
So, and properly timed, no? Alam niyo sa communication,
no? Pareha. So, ginagawa tayo nito, they insult our intelligence. These clowns are insulting our intelligence. Now, the only way to battle against them is to take the truth.
To tell the truth, yes.
Hold on to the truth.
That's true.
Be principled. I'm gonna tell you something, Noel.
Go, sir.
During the time na nagde-debate, in the course of the debate, based on how I answered the questions, kasi it took like 1 hour and a half before that incident happened. So, sa Twitter, marami ng mga bongbong supporters na nagsasabing okay to si Espiritu, and they were almost like supporting me, okay. But then after that happened, they learned na ino-combat natin ang historical revisionism. Ang comment nila, ay hindi pala okay to, masamang espiritu pala to. So imagine I'm a senatorial candidate. Kung trapo ako, if I'll just be tactical about it, I will desist from
engaging,
attacking Marcos. I will get the votes of the Bongbong camp. And I can also get the votes of the Lenny camp. Hindi man ako presidente.
That's very Isko Moreno.
Yes, that's why they're not talking categorically about these things. Yan ang sinasabi ko na unprincipled action in regard to the truth. Now, I don't care about whether you will vote for me or not. But this is a matter of principle. Na kapag may kasinungalingan, na alam mo naman kasinungalingan at mabuti na buhay tayo nung panahon ni Marcos, i-combat mo yon. This is not about votes. In fact, our running in the elections, part of it is to be elected in the Senate para at least may representation naman ang manggagawa. Pero ito higher consideration na ito, di ba? Kung hindi mo man ako iboto, pero sasabihin ko sa iyo totoo. And I will try to convert you sa katotohanan na yan. Di ba? Ang mga naniniwala kay Bongbong, hindi ko kayo kalaban, hindi natin sila kalaban. In fact, they are victims. When we're talking about budol-budol and fraudulent claims, may mga liars, clowns na nandyan na binibiktima ang karamihan sa atin at minimislead sila. That's why I see them as victims of these people using their desperation. Now, my attitude to you is, ang makaka-benefit nga na sasabihin ko sa iyo without compromises, ang katotohanan. Dahil kapag gagawin ko lang maging oportunista ako para lang maboto ako, wala akong sasabihin, lalo kang masasadlak sa ganyang klaseng kaisipan na nakabase sa mga fraudulent claims na yan. At masasagla ka lang sa kahirapan.
Sir, so the Harry Roque thing, no? You were saying you knew his background and the 360-degree turn after. Ano yung masasabi niyo dun sa parang kasama niyo sa Hanay tapos biglang nag-turn coat?
When I joined the progressive movement, I joined this forum sa UP about the Bangsamoro Basic Law. I was in fact even impressed with lawyers like Harry Roque and si Justice Leonen, who were the speakers. They appeared progressive to me. And in fact, I'm very familiar with his record na siya ay human rights lawyer. He prosecuted the victims of the Maguindanao massacre. So I would always hear news items about him. He was lawyer for Jennifer Laude, staunchly defending human rights. So for him,
Ano nangyari, sir? Ano nangyari
for him to
doon?
do that, yes, that's unprincipled.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna mince words. That's unprincipled and opportunistic. Actually, anti-Duterte din yan eh. Then when he was offered a chance to be in power, to be with the powerful, when he took it, and when he took it, that also gave him a chance na naging spokesperson siya. It opened the doors for him. According to him, walang mga party na gusto siyang i-adapt.
Yun nga po yung sinabi, di ba?
So when Marcos offered, he took it, and now he's a Marcos apologist. What do you call that? That's opportunism. Di ba? And
yung mga
sobra.
nakasama niya sa Hanay dati, parang sinabi talaga, parang what a waste, no? Parang yung mga taon na sinaman, ginugol niya para ipagtanggol yung mga kaso dati. Parang yun. Well, sorry but no sorry actually, no? And he got what he deserved with your
But it was not a waste if you view it in sa fact na that was
it's just clarifying who he is, no? Pala.
Not really. What catapulted him in sa kanyang side, that catapulted him into public consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
Human rights catapulted him. Hindi naman mag-a-appoint si Duterte sa mga unknown lang. Pero dahil kilala siya, magaling siyang abogado sa pagde-defend ng human rights. Then that makes him viable as a spokesperson of Duterte. So human rights brought you there. Yeah. Human rights brought you to Duterte, and human rights brought you to where you are right now. Na ikaw ay landing pa sa survey. And yet, after, because you're there already, you defend all of these human rights violators. Ang hirap lunukin, no?
Pag meet sa logic, no? Wala talaga. Sir, isa pa, I like the way you clarified things with Dr. Clarita Carlos about fence sitting, no? In the whole scheme of things. Can you explain that, sir? Kasi for a while I thought it was great also that you're able to explain your point about not just being a fence sitter, pero may taya din naman kayo doon, di ba? Doon sa stance na sinasabi.
In fact,
can you clarify that?
A fence sitter is someone who doesn't take a stand, right? It's just waiting kung sino ang mananalo.
Hindi kayo gano'n.
Literally, di ba, nakaupo ka sa fence, may nagbabakbakan, tapos sabihin mo, sinong mananalo dyan? Sinong mananalo dyan? Kung sinong mananalo dyan, doon ako. Yan ang fence sitter.
Yes.
Di ba? But to take a stance na ito, nagbabakbakan tong dalawang superpowers na to. Gusto nila kasali ka para gawin kang pawn. Kasi matagal na tayong ginawang pawn eh. We experienced that with the Americans. Now, ginawang tayong pawn ng American. Ang sagot mo, maging pawn tayo ng China. Ganon ang gusto mo. Galit ka sa pagiging pawn, di ba?
Yeah.
So, yan ba a fence sitter? You're taking a principled stance. You're taking a position. A fence sitter does not take a position. A fence sitter will compromise anything. Di ba? Wavering ang position niya. But this is a firm position na ang interest naman ng Pilipinas ang hawakan natin. Hindi tayo magpakapon sa dalawang yan.
Hindi parang interest natin, no, yung unahin, no.
Yes,
ang galing sir, kasi parang walang nagaganon. Kini-question yung mga judges supposedly or the panel there, no. Maraming salamat sa pag-clarify.
You know, all of them were talking about they are attacking the Americans. Well, that's justified because of the historical injustices committed upon us by the Americans, the unequal relationship we had. That is true. But to use that in order to justify the pivot to China, ay yan kalokohan talaga yan. Di ba? Yung hypocrisy na naman eh. Di ba? Titira ka na ginawa tayong pawn ng American, pero magpapakapon ka sa Chinese. Di ba? I just don't understand.
So, sir, looking at the whole debate, the whole design of the debate and the people who are there, you were prepared kung sino yung mga taong ka-deal nyo doon?
No, not really sufficiently prepared. Because,
Okay.
you know, I was not supposed to be part of that.
Oh.
We were messaging SMNI
For representation.
to become part of it. Pero walang
Okay.
sagot eh. Walang sagot eh. And later on, I just don't want to name names.
Okay.
Someone from that network wanted to interview Calyodi and
Okay.
contacted the executive assistant of Calyodi.
Okay.
So the executive assistant said, well, yes, we could agree to that. Pero pwede mo bang ipasok si Kalok dyan? So it became like a, if they don't include me, baka hindi nila makuha ang interview kay Calyodi. So they were forced to include me that 2 days before the debates.
Yun
So 2
pala
days
yun.
before, there was no sufficient time to prepare. But I had to make use of the limited time I had.
Ang galing.
To at least, di ba, brush up on things.
Of course.
Di ba?
I watched last night. Don't you still have candidates who were not featured there?
Ang dami from the
Ang dami
progressive.
pa.
From us who are in the progressive.
Kasi homogeneous, yung parang pare-pareho na yung they sort of agreed na hindi na katulad ng debate na nangyari sa inyo, no? Parang they didn't reach out to any one of you to give
Wala na.
another.
Like I think Nery Colmenares tweeted that he was never invited. So walang invitation dun sa mga they know good question. You know, my obscurity and anonymity may have benefited me. Diba? I'm not as famous as Nery. I'm not as famous as the other progressive candidates. In fact, maraming nakadiscover lang sa akin.
But thank you. Thank you.
So,
we're amplifying it now.
Perhaps they thought, sino ba to? Hindi ba to kilala eh. So pwede naman siguro include to this.
You're in the list of our senatorials. Even national artist Ryan Cayabyab tweeted kanina and posted that you're part of the list already for saying what we wanted to say. So sir, yung platforms nyo covered trabaho, sahod, ekonomiya, karapatan. Marami yan, no? But I'll give way to the questions of the viewers. No? Si Maish ng Moonstar 88, tinanong ka raw nito sa Twitter, ano raw po yung stand nyo on divorce, sir?
I'm pro-divorce.
You're pro-divorce?
Yes, I'm pro-divorce. I do, it's an actual condition already in our society that relationships are not that healthy between a man and a woman. So what do they do? Diba? If actual naman magkakaroon sila ng de facto separation, but then it ties them down sa kanilang move on. Yung legal tie na yon na nandyan pa rin. So we just have to accept the reality na hindi lahat ng relasyon ay
nag-work.
Kababaihan. And I am for women's rights ng ating kababaihan ay na-tie down dyan sa ganyan. And we have to cut that legal tie because yun, wasak na yung marriage.
Wala sinasabi nga yung legal separation, yung annulment is really against the poor, no? Kasi parang so since you're working with the communities, alam nyo na napakahirap yan lalo na para sa mga mahihirap, no?
Yes.
Second, sir, people are asking, si Maish pa rin, medical marijuana, what's your stand there, sir?
I have no problem with medical marijuana.
Okay.
I have no problem with that. In fact, it should be legalized. May mga countries na nag-legalize niyan.
Okay.
So that's it.
Okay. Next, the same-sex union, sabi rin ni Maish, sir.
I am for same-sex union. I am uncompromisingly for democracy. Ang democracy na ito ay hindi natatamasa ng mga LGBTQIA community natin. Sila ay napag-iiwanan. In fact, sila ay subject pa rin ng discrimination and derision. Diba? Imaginein mo kung nag-partners kayo, may same-sex union kayo ng de facto. Pag nagkasakit ang iyong partner, hindi ka nga makabisita sa ospital dahil wala kayong legal tie.
Right.
Diba? Kapag nag-accumulate kayo ng something for yung little property, hindi ka naman
Or
tagapagmana.
pag namatay, you don't have the right to the body, no? At
You
all.
don't even right to the body.
That's true.
Hindi naman natin madidiktahan kung sinong iniibig ng bawat isa. Hindi tayo nagdidiktahan. Middle ages na values kasi yan eh. Na ang tao ay babae at lalaki pa. Ano yung LGBTQIA natin? Ito ba ay singaw lang ng nature?
Yeah.
And that's the explanation. Aberration sila sa nature.
Yeah.
Imagine mo yun. Ikaw LGBTQIA ka, aberration ka pala. 'Di ba? Nagkamali ang Panginoon.
Yeah.
Nagkamali siya. Gumawa siya ng tao na LGBTQIA, ganun ang sa tingin mo. 'Di ba? We should recognize democratic rights for the LGBTQIA.
And there have been senators or even like people in government or kahit na anong field, no, who are like performing really well and serving the nation, nakasama sa community. Then next,
Yes.
what are the possible bills that can be pushed to correct and protect the people from fake news and revisionism?
Well, we have to have educational reform. The
That's
curriculum,
true.
the curriculum must incorporate teaching history the right way.
That's
Because it
true.
is history. It is
That's
history.
true.
The
That's
Marcos period was history. And
Sir, anong problema doon? Parang hindi natin diniinan na mali. Yun yung kakulangan natin. Parang we were just so proper or we just iniwan natin after EDSA. Tapos doon, parang pinabayaan lang. The vigilance wasn't there. So, yan, nakabalik. Ganun ba yung nangyari doon?
the reasons are deeper than that. The Marcos restoration is kaya galit sila sa Dilaw or whatever, but the elite rule after Marcos, the Marcos regime was ousted. Elite rule did not exorcise the evil of Marcos. Why? Because parehas lang naman ng social class background yan eh.
Yeah.
Ninoy Aquino,
Yeah.
when he was making public speeches before he returned to the Philippines, said that he wrote letters to Marcos saying that Marcos should negotiate now while he's still in power because it will be too late already later on if the people will ask for his blood. Meaning to say, talagang ipapunish si Marcos. Di ba? Tulad ng nangyari kay sa Romania, kay Ceausescu, na talagang merong justice na minute out ang revolutionary change diyan sa lugar na yan. Pero in fact, the one who saved Marcos was the elite rule that came after. He was allowed to go into exile with all his family in 1987. When there were regular elections, 80 plus of the Marcos officials were voted back into office. 5 years after the EDSA revolution, the Marcos family was able to return, and then
Why so? Why weren't we jolted? Hindi ba parang nung panahon natin, ni pagpasok nga sa UP, parang merong outcry yung mga tao or yung mga sa public establishments. Pero ngayon parang it seemed normal.
Quite simply because you cannot replace elite rule by another form of elite rule and expect changes.
Yeah.
Kaya meron tayong contradiction sa ating history. We celebrate EDSA, we call the NAIA, the Ninoy Aquino International Airport. We have symbols for that revolution in EDSA. But then side by side with it, andyan ang mga symbols kay Marcoses, sa Marcos. The Marcoses were back in power, they became senators, they became governors. So side by side also with the EDSA appointed officials na naging dynasty na rin. Pare-parehas actually yan. So yung contradiction na yon, they exist because they are united in the fact that that's elite democracy. So if you have that, you will have a bipolar type of historical view. Di ba? Hindi mo masasabi na masama si Marcos, hindi mo rin masasabi mabuti si Marcos, talagang bipolar. Diba? So that gave the conditions, they made the perfect conditions, created the perfect conditions for Marcos restoration. So Marcos restoration is the creation of that. Tapos sasabihin nila, galit sila sa mga dilaw-dilaw ganon. Yung dilaw ang
and it's the whole design. It's the whole
made possible for them to be restored. Diba?
Yeah. And we have 67 days to art it, sir. So we really have to double time. Thank you for this. Mom, my sister Celia was asking, what's your stand on climate change? And then our friend Susan Tagle said, I had the chance to work with Luke in anti-coal energy movement. He's a staunch advocate of climate change issues, especially those that affect the lives of the underprivileged. In a capsule, sir, what's your stand on climate change?
Phase out the coal-fired power plants, 100% renewable energy. We have to meet the target set by the scientists, the world scientists. We should really drastically reduce our carbon emission para ang ating temperature won't rise beyond 1.5 degrees. By 2030, kapag hindi natin nagawa yon, that's irreversible already. We have a climate emergency.
Really nice to hear your holistic view of things, no? Also, my sister was asking bilang fireside chat question, para fun din naman daw, what are your learnings on leadership, sir? Cite very specific stories and people you remember when you talk about leadership. Who do you like look up to, and then ano yung magandang parang insight nyo on leadership that you follow?
Well, first, sino ba ang nilulook up to ko? You would be surprised. You would be surprised because I really idolize Ninoy Aquino.
I heard that interview yesterday.
Yes.
Yeah, you said it was Ninoy Aquino that prompted you to really be socially aware.
Yes, and in fact, when I was young, I really idolized the guy.
Okay.
Tanda mo, pinanganak na ako nung panahon ni Marcos eh.
Yes, sir.
Now, pero hindi ako dilawan ha. That's the problem eh. Di ba yung the way we see things. Di ba?
Hindi, ang pangit din naman kasi ng pagka-frame, no? Ng pagka, yun, yung colors that we are beyond the colors, no?
Oh, now, if you examine the guy, he made his speech in LA and he described his belief as Christian socialism.
Yeah.
And when he was asked to describe Christian socialism, he said that he doesn't believe in the exploitation of man by man. And he even said that we cannot have unbridled capitalism. And he even said that one family cannot just own a single electric company or airline company in the Philippines. These should be public services for the benefit of the people. So he was a socialist. Now, that's why he cannot be dilaw. He cannot be dilaw in the sense that he is not neoliberal. He is not neoliberal. He is not pro-capitalist. If he may have been used as a symbol of the dilaw, that's the wrong symbol. That's the wrong symbol to use. He was not dilaw.
That's true. What in him lives in you, sir?
Well, I am a socialist.
Yeah.
Like Ninoy was a socialist, but not in the same breath.
Yeah.
That
You're
is
not
socialism.
elite. You're not elite.
I'm not elite, but but he described his socialism as Christian socialism.
Yeah.
My socialism is proletarian socialism, the socialism of the workers. But the conclusions are the same. That I also do not believe in the exploitation of man by man. We must have a system that is humane. In fact, a system that also takes care of our environment. The system that does not protect profit, the system that does not protect the 1%, the billionaires, the system that will protect those that are in the bottom layer of our social order. Those are the things taught to us by our Jesuit education.
Yes.
When we enrolled in our subjects for liberation theology, we may have different ways of interpreting what socialism is, but the conclusion is the same: human beings first, not property owners.
That's true. Kaya hindi tayo yaman, sir. Yun talaga. Yun, and the whole conscience part, I guess that's what we no? Hindi man religious or spiritual, although nandyan palagi yun, no? What distinguishes us from other people is that grabe yung konsensya natin. Yun siguro, no? Sir, another question from an audience. I wonder what his thoughts are on accountable politics and how we can have people fight systemic corruption.
What can hold the people accountable in our politics?
Yes,
is that the question?
Yes, sir.
And how we can fight systemic corruption. There are two ways to do that. Number one, within the system. Yeah, within the system and outside the system. We must remember that corruption is very much part of the system. But we could use the system itself to fight corruption. I can just describe it in generalities because if I go into specifics, maubos ang oras natin.
Yes, sir.
But that should not stop us from changing the system so that the reasons for corruption, the conditions for corruption are also
That's
changed.
true. Are addressed, no?
Are addressed.
Lalo na ngayon, parang people are not held accountable, no? For
Yes.
lalo na sa bansa natin. Sir, do you believe in surveys? Kasi 67 days before the elections, and then parang ayan, no, landslide win pa rin doon sa surveys, or margin pa rin yung mismong taong unang-unang parang feeling ng grupo na yun yung kalaban ng bayan.
As it is incorporated in the nature of surveys that it is not 100% accurate, but at the same time it is scientific. Therefore, you must admit to the scientific aspect of that, but at the same time, there are rooms for errors. But in the whole, it indicates kung ano yung trend, and we must address if the surveys say that Bongbong Marcos enjoy 60% of the support of the Filipinos. We must be forewarned already.
Yes.
But we must not lose hope.
Sir,
if in fact it should guide us.
Do you see parang getting together of all these anti-Marcos forces to eventually like thwart this? Or by sentiments bang pwedeng mabuo towards the elections na parang pwedeng magsama-samang mga tao?
I could see the possibility of a political alliance or joining of forces. Right now, the electoral is limited to the senatorial. Like voters will make up a list made up of everyone that is anti-Marcos, not necessarily the official senatorial candidate.
Yes, we'll vote for you, sir. Don't worry, we'll campaign for you.
Yes, pero electoral yun, and it's very limited kasi nga may mga presidential eh. So hindi talaga mangyayari na mag-join up ka just to get votes and magkakasama kayo sa campaign. But that should not stop us from politically joining forces to thwart the Marcos-Duterte tandem.
Sir, kaya pa ba?
I believe that we must make the process quicker. But at the same time, we have also to evaluate it in a objective and scientific manner. My formulation for that is, as I always explain, will be what Antonio Gramsci said. You must have the pessimism of the will, of the intellect, and optimism of the will. Pessimism of the intellect means you must evaluate it, and you must accept hard facts. But optimism of the will, meaning to say you must still fight for victory. And your evaluation must guide you towards tactics and strategies in order to do that. Therefore, kapag ganyan na may 60% si Marcos, let's take it with the pessimism of the intellect, meaning to say kung masama man ng data, let's look at it objectively. But then that should not discourage us. That should redouble our efforts. That should guide our actions.
No? That's
diba?
true.
We cannot accept a Marcos Duterte axis of evil to ruin our land for another 50 years, if not 100 years. We cannot afford that.
No, it's not only them, no? We're talking about the Arroyos, the Estradas, all the other people na nakapaligid sa kanila.
Andun, nagsama-sama na tong mga mandarambong,
At
mga
dapat malinaw yun po sa mga tao, no? So, sir, paano po yun? Do you see, kunyari, you said, Calyodi said, no, kung pwede lang mag-usap sila ni VP Lenny para mag-align, pwede. But kunyari, Sir, si Isko Moreno, is that someone you consider as a possible, yun nga, parang alternative candidate?
He is a trapo.
Okay.
And he acts as such. He's definitely trapo.
Okay.
Now,
so
I think I've heard of I don't know if these are rumors that he's the Duterte candidate. But
yun,
yeah.
magandang kayo po yung nagsasabi niyan kasi parang he's banking on that, sir, the last minute, so that eventually, most of his cabinet members are with Isko, no? Si Digong, no? So yun yata yung dahilan kung bakit hindi siya pwede makapag-pull out. So
yes.
you think so you actually in the terms of Ma'am Clarita Carlos, siya yung fence sitter actually, hindi kayo. So, yun, no? Parang, and politics for him is addition, no? Numbers.
Yeah.
So, sa tingin nyo, hindi kayo aligned po nun?
Yeah, of course not. Look at the way he speaks. He's really trapo all throughout.
Okay. Sige, sir. The next one, sir, si Manny Pacquiao, sir. You think he can give way?
I don't know. It's really up to him. Regarding, but he already took side against Duterte. So that's one good thing. Going for him.
Okay.
If he can will be part of the political alignment against the Duterte and the Marcos faction, then he could perhaps he could be part of it.
Okay. I'll go back lang to the press con of Lito Banayo and the leaders of Action Democratico yesterday, sir. As you were being interviewed in CNN Philippines, nag-press con sila ng sarili nila hitting the Marcoses. Who represents Isko, no? You must have heard about it. Ano po yung comment niya that they're starting now to hit on Marcos because he's a front runner? You think it holds water, or you would expect Isko to say that, or it's parang chipping off the Marcos para mapunta sa kanya?
I am actually worried with the play. The play like pairing Isko with Sara Duterte. Because the father, Rodrigo Duterte has already uttered words that would tend to undermine the candidacy of Bongbong Marcos, even if he did not mention names. So you would see the sentiments of the father already. So I am worried about the possible play that the Sara Duterte will be used by the father, the Duterte forces, as an alternative to Marcos, to Bongbong Marcos. Because if you look at the way things things are going to develop, if Bongbong Marcos wins, he will not provide solutions to the problems. There will always be crisis, and his support will be eroded. And once that support is eroded, there is another alternative from the same camp, the same evil camp that could already be activated, so that they will get our support. And I could already see that there's a possibility that Sara Duterte will be used as an alternative to Bongbong Marcos when all of these things pan out. So that's a danger. Maluloko na naman tayo.
Sino nga ba yung advisor niya? Si Gloria, no, who did the same thing. Ran as vice president and eventually became president. And so she had a long term as president.
Yes, no? and the actions of Isko Moreno would be very, very consistent with the type of scenario. And I am not saying that I am I am a prophet, that I could really foresee things, but it is a possibility under the constellation of forces that we have right now.
Thank you for saying that, sir. Next one, Ping Lacson is not an option, lalo na sa grupo ninyo, sir, no?
He's a rightist.
Yes.
He's a rightist. And we do not support rightists. Fascist.
Yeah. So, sir, so the possibility of aligning against the Marcos forces who are leading the surveys is still there. And who will do the reaching out, if ever, sir?
I don't know. Perhaps people on the ground.
Probably you.
I think there's a groundswell of sentiment. That there must be some type of unity, if not electoral unity right now, because later on, whatever happens, if the worst thing will happen, sino ba magkikita sa kalye?
That's true.
We might as well build those relationships now.
Totoo yun.
If the worst thing happens.
Sir, my sister will get mad if I'm not able to ask you this question. What's your favorite fruit and why? Because knowing why inspire action. So, ano yung favorite fruit now?
Fruit.
On a lighter side, yes.
Well, of course, the flavors of my youth in Bacolod.
Which is?
Santol.
Maraming santol sa Bacolod. Yes. We're going there next
week. We have a santol tree in our house.
Okay. And there's santol juice, no? Parang ginagawa yan ngayon. So, anyway, sir, question. Are you prepared to lose this elections? Tinanong ko rin yan kanina kay Georgina, no? It seems like parang we are not. Ako, sir, I'm so invested that I cannot parang afford to lose. Kasi parang tayo yung EDSA babies.
Now, I don't look at things sa timeline na yon. I look
Maganda
at
rin
things,
naman yun.
I look at things na
after the elections, no?
sa mas mahabang timeline.
That's true. But are you prepared for a Marcos leadership, sir?
Oh, I will never accept a Marcos leadership, but prepared in the sense that my plans, our plans, will also, be conditioned by the possibility of a Marcos leadership. Of course, we have to respond to whatever possibilities are there. Therefore, kapag nangyari yon, it's not the end of everything. I will always say, as I always say in my speeches, history is on our side. I can never believe that evil will triumph over good. And it's just a matter of time. Now, it is our job to make the process quicker. If we could convince our kababayans before the elections, well and good. But if we can't, the timeline is too short, then we will not stop until we achieve final victory. It's just a matter of time. We cannot accept that type of a rule here.
Same here, sir. But how do you do that in 67 days, for example? How are you maximizing? Thank you for your SMNI thing. You never planned it, and it just happened. Parang it made people realize what you stood for or what you stand for, no? So, yun po. How can we amplify it and help you, sir?
Meron ng conditions para sa ganong response ng lahat kasi galit na lahat sa trapo eh. Galit na talaga lahat sa trapo. We must really be able to address yung galit na yon and direct it to the right direction. Now, that's what I'm trying to do. Kaya hindi natin kalaban ang mga supporters ni Bongbong. Hindi natin kalaban sila. Sila ay biktima ng kahirapan, biktima ng elite rule, na siyang naging reason or basis para lokohin sila ni Bongbong Marcos. Our job is to enlighten them. And we can enlighten them not by pandering to them or to Bongbong. Okay, we can enlighten them by uncompromising stand for the truth. And that's what we're trying to do. And I think, I don't believe na lahat ng mga Bongbong supporters ay na-turn off sa atin. I think kapag gagawin lang natin to, na hindi tayo trapo, na talagang kahit mawalan ka ng boto, gagawin lang natin na ang pagkukumbinsin ito, I think na marami dyan ang makukumbinsi na peking alternatibo ang Bongbong Marcos.
Galing. Yung parang ilapit sa buhay nila, no? Na tipong, alam nyo ba yung repercussions ng botong yan? So sir, how do you address that thing na pagdating mo sa ground, feeling nila accountable sila sa mga politikong may pera at makapangyarihan? We always say na pagdating ng botohan, parang hindi naman alam ng mga politiko kung sino binoto mo, di ba? How do you empower them more?
But that is a real danger. Sa local type of politics, may system of monitoring talaga mga warlords. Meron talaga yan. So kapag binili ka nila, kapag hindi mo sila binoto, yari ka talaga dyan. And we must understand na ang ating mga kababayan sa ground ay matagal nang nasa ilalim ng mga dynasties at political class na very violent.
You don't see our people on ground thwarting it? Hindi mo nakikitang lalaban yung mga tao natin sa ground?
Nakakuan ka nakaposas ang kamay mo. I have seen how they kill. I have seen how our warlords really establish a climate of fear and helplessness. Hindi naman totoo yan. Like for example, ang vote buying, akala ba natin immoral lang talaga ang ating mga botante? No, may kasamang coercion yan. Sa kuwan ka, ikaw ay boboto ng mayor, identified ka kung hindi ka para sa isang kandidato eh. Alam nila, sa neighborhood, palang alam nila na contrast partidos ka. And it affects everything. Pag pumunta ka ngayon sa health center, contrast partidos ka ng incumbent, hindi ka bumoto sa kanya, hindi ka supporter, ay wala kang serbisyo. Pag nagbigayan na ng 4-piece, pag nagbigayan ng mga bigas, ng mga ayuda, contras partidos ka ngayon, hindi ka magkakaroon. Kaya hindi totoo ang bobotante. We must understand na nasa trapot system tayo, na napaka-violent na mga trapong yan. Clown sila, mga payaso yan mga yan, pero pumapatay na payaso yan. So medyo systemic ang kailangan nating gawin. Kailangan talaga mag-struggle tayo. Kaya hindi nga, limited lang ang magagawa ng electoral exercise. We must have a mass movement. This should be a movement for change, elections or no elections.
That's true. Na after this, di ba yung gain natin is that we're able to create a movement after the elections na tipong tignan yung yung gain natin dito, the people. Tama nga kayo, pagod yung mga tao, conscientize yung mga tao, tapos ibalik yung pag-asa para sa kanila, no? Pero hindi mo yun nakikitang nangyayari sana in a Marcos Duterte win.
Well, they will provide the external factors. When they win, they will provide the external factors ng pagkontra sa kanila. The same the same support that they will generate out of the dissatisfaction of the masses will be the same force that can be used against them, that will go against them, because they will never deliver on their promises. Imagine, they are peddling fantasies na sa isang iglap mawawala ang kahirapan, and hindi nila magagawa yon. In fact, magiging kabaliktaran sila nun. In fact, mas magiging worse ang rule
kasi
nila. Kasi
hindi naman ibabalik yung nakaw na yaman, di ba?
Kasi hindi naman totoo na ibabalik nila yun eh. Di ba? Hindi naman totoo na i-devote nila yun para sa atin. Di ba? At worst, yan yung mga leaders na gagamit ng authoritarian types ng governance. Yan yung mga papatay. Yan yung mga gagamit ng NTF-ELCAC. Yan yung mga repress, magsusuppress. Marirealize ng mga manggagawa na hindi sila pwede magreklamo sa kanilang pabrika dahil bakit? Gagamitin sila ng pulis, ng NTF-ELCAC, sasabing terorista sila. Yung ating mga maralita na walang mga bahay, may evict sila. Pag lumaban sila, may NTF-ELCAC sila, sasabing terorista sila. Yan yung nire-represent ng Marcos. Kaya nga, nandun ang NTF-ELCAC na sumusuporta sa kanila sa SMNI debates. Magkakamag-anak yan Magkakamag-anak ang mga mandarambong, ang mga killer, ang mga taga-sira ng ating democratic rights, magkakamag-anak yan. At elite rule. O yun, yung combination na yan, yan ang talagang yun ang medyo danger sa atin. And marirealize ng masa yan, and the same support that they got, because they use the anger and dissatisfaction of the masses doon sa liberal bourgeoisie. That same dissatisfaction will be directed against them. And we must be there ready when the time comes, when we have the forces na i-direct ito para baguhin na natin ang buong sistema, baguhin na natin ang elite rule na siyang nag-create ng mga Marcoses.
Ang galing. Para kang nag-philo oral, sir, all over again. Iba lang. Kasi pag mainstream media, you're after sound bites. And now, thank you for those insights, sir. And then I'll go back to the Jesuit background, sir. Since we always go back to prayer, you still pray, no? I suppose.
I have a different development in terms of my religious.
I want to understand that, sir. I want to understand that. So, what do you pray for now, or is there any other? Well, your commitment to the country might be your prayer or your manifestation of your.
I take the values that were taught to me by the Jesuits. And that's what I believe in. And I believe in humanity. And that humanity will be able to change their environment and their society. And that's my hope and faith for our future. Therefore, I don't just pray. I don't pray for these things. I join humanity in the struggle for these things.
That's true. That's true. You act on it, and you thank you for inspiring us to action. And thank you for making us support you. For a time, people were curious, sino ba at saan ba nanggaling ito? And we're proud that you're Atenean. And yun, parang you're able to go back to the roots, and then it has never changed. Kung ano man yun, sir, parang yun, it's the theory and the practice. And I guess, yun nga, pagpapalawak ng konsyensya at yun nga, hindi tayo yayaman, hindi pagpapayaman yung orientasyon. So maraming
kasalanan ng mga Jesuits, Noel.
Na pagdating...
Hindi tayo tinuruan na magpaka-bilyonaryo.
So iba talaga yung orientasyon. Sir, parting words from people who nasumubaybay sa inyo at ayun, bilang pagbabalik nyo rin dito sa Ateneo, sa community natin.
I want to bring a message of hope and not of despair. And I want to bring a message of hope in these times of danger, na mababalik tayo sa panahon na walang respeto sa human life, walang respeto sa kalayaan, walang respeto sa mga nasa laylayan ng ating lipunan, walang respeto sa ating mga manggagawa, sa ating mga magsasaka, sa ating maralita na naghahanap buhay lamang. At itong klaseng kaayusan na ito ay tandaan natin para sa 1% na nasa taas, sa mga bilyonaryo, tapos lalapatan nila ng repression, lalapatan nila ng pagpabalahura ng ating demokrasya, lalapatan nila ng masasamang forma ng panunungkulan. Sa ganitong klaseng danger na ito, I have faith and hope in the capacity of humanity not to allow evil to triumph. And I have faith and hope in the capacity of the workers and the Filipino masses to be a political force to thwart this danger. So huwag tayo magpapakahulog sa despair. Pag yan ay nangyari sa atin, nagpapakahulog tayo sa despair, walang mangyayaring solusyon at sila ang mga masasamang puwersa lang ang makikinabang.
Thank you, sir, for giving that message of hope and faith. And yun nga, sa pagbabalik dun sa katotohanan na in the end, we just have to empower everyone and to thank you for making us work and support you, sir.
Thank you, Noel.
One with you. Thank you. And
thank you, Noel. Thank you very much.
Maraming salamat. Thank you for having with us, sir. Nandito lang po kami sa inyo. Maraming salamat and we'll see you again. Salamat po sa pag-level up. Thank you, sir. Ang galing. Salamat, sir.
Wag mo na kayang palampasin, wag na wag mo na kayang palampasin, wag na wag mo na kayang patagalin, tenanaw mo na gawin mo na. Level up, lumilipad, level up, hanggang
di kailanman mapipigilan pagbuhos ng ulan. Ang buhay sadyang ganyan.
At kaya ng papago-pagong pag-ihip ng hangin. Lahat ay lilipas at magsasalita.
Huwag kang mabahala, huwag mataranta. Hindi kailangan ang mag-alilangan pa.
Isipin mo laging nandito lamang ang aking balikat, sa'yo'y nakaabang.
Asahan mo, hindi ka iiwan sa mundo. Lahat may hangganan, asahan mo. Wala nang atrasan sa iyong bawat hakbang na pupuntahan. Pangako kailanman, agad akong nandyan. Sang tawag mo lang.
At tuwing nagdidilim ang langit, di ba't nagpapakita ang buwan? Hanggang mag-umaga na naman.
Tara't hintayin na natin magsikat ng iyong araw, hanggang sa magliwanag muli ang lahat. Asahan mo, hindi ka iiwan sa mundo. Lahat may hangganan, asahan mo. Wala nang atrasan sa iyong bawat hakbang na pupuntahan. Pangako kailanman, agad akong nandyan. may hangganan, asahan mo. Wala nang atrasan sa iyong bawat hakbang na pupuntahan. Pangako kailanman, pagkat akong nandyan, sang tawag mo lang. Sang tawag